is not automatic. It is installed, or it is programmed, it is trained. And training means repetition. Repetition when it's boring, repetition when it's painful, repetition when you want to walk away. That's how warriors are formed. That's how minds become unbreakable. And if you want to rise above your feelings, you must work harder than your emotions do. There will be moments when nothing feels right, when fear screams and doubt whispers. That's when you speak louder. That's when you lean in. That's when you don't just survive, you command. Command your presence, command your thoughts, command your breath. Not in arrogance, but in clarity. Because the moment you surrender your emotions to luck or outside approval, you weaken your spirit. And weak spirits don't lead, they follow, they crumble. But you are here to lead your life. You are here to become the kind of person who walks into fire with a calm mind and a strong heart. The storms of life will keep coming. You can't stop the wind, but you can control your sail. And that sail is your state. Command it. Don't just react to life. Respond with purpose. Respond with focus. Respond with force. Because you didn't come this far to be emotionally unstable. You didn't endure everything you've endured just to be led by fleeting feelings. You came here to master yourself. And that begins the moment you stop begging to feel better and decide to lead yourself better. Push past comfort. Rise through resistance. And never again let your emotions pull you away from the man or woman you were born to become. You are not here to hope. You are here to command. Adversity is life's invitation to grow. Respond with joy, not complaint. Every struggle, every setback, every loss that shakes your world is not here to break you. It is here to build you. It is not a curse, but a call. A call to rise, to evolve, to sharpen the edges of your spirit against the grindstone of difficulty. Most people waste their pain. They complain, they blame, they retreat, they ask, why me? As if life has singled them out for suffering. But what they don't see is that adversity is not personal. It is purposeful. It comes for everyone, but only a few will use it. Only a few will see it as the furnace that forges greatness. And you're reading this, you are one of those few. You are not here to fold. You are here to respond with joy. That joy is not fake. It is not forced. It is not some empty grin pasted over a broken heart. It is a choice, a weapon. It is the decision to stand in the storm with your head high and your purpose intact. It is the refusal to let difficulty drag your energy into darkness. You don't need to enjoy the pain, but you must embrace the growth. You must meet adversity with a mindset so strong that it shocks the world. While others crumble, you stand tall. While others curse the test, you say, good, now I rise. Complaints are easy. Joy is discipline. Anyone can whine. Anyone can point fingers, explain why life is unfair, why things should be easier. But those who achieve real transformation don't have time for pity. They don't have space in their minds for weakness. They use every hit as a spark. They turn pain into focus. They turn loss into fuel. They turn delays into deeper drive. And that transformation doesn't happen by accident. It happens through daily decisions. The decision to respond with joy is not soft. It is not naive. It is one of the hardest choices you will ever make. But it is also the most powerful. Adversity will strip away the surface. It will reveal what you're really made of. It will show you the truth. Not of the world, but of yourself. And what you find in that reflection is up to you. Will you find a person crushed by circumstances? Or will you find a warrior rising from the ashes, eyes clear, fists clenched, heart unshaken? Because that's what you are, if you choose to be. Every challenge is asking you one question: how strong are you willing to become? And every time you answer with joy, with action, with discipline, you become someone that difficulty cannot defeat. There's a kind of person adversity cannot handle. A person who doesn't flinch, who doesn't stall, who doesn't whine, moan, or wait for someone else to fix it. A person who faces the fire and walks through it. That person lives inside of you, but it will only emerge if you stop using your voice to complain and start using it to command. Command your energy, command your thoughts, command your response. You may not control the pain, but you always control the perspective. Start seeing adversity as your training ground, your opportunity to sharpen mental muscles. The heavier the weight, the stronger you become. The deeper the hole, the greater the rise. Every hard day is shaping your future victories. Every delay is teaching you patience. Every loss is building humility. Every betrayal is sculpting wisdom. These are not just wounds, they are weapons in disguise. The world will never stop testing you. But that's not a problem, that's the point. Life will keep handing you storms until you learn how to become the calm inside them. You must stop seeing problems as interruptions. They are the path. The obstacle is not in the way, it is the way. But only if you see it that way. Only if you stop resisting what life is teaching and start leaning into it. This is not about staying positive for the sake of appearances. It's about developing a mind so powerful that you respond with purpose to anything life throws at you. That kind of strength is rare. That kind of mindset doesn't complain, it commands, it creates, it constructs the future brick by unbreakable brick. You are being molded for something greater. And molding always comes with pressure, but pressure is a privilege. Diamonds are not made in comfort. Leaders are not made in ease. Purpose is not born in applause, it is born in adversity. You are being prepared, and the pain you feel is not a sign to stop. It's a signal to build. So respond with joy, not because the process is pleasant, but because the result is worth it. Respond with joy because that's how champions respond. That's how warriors rise. That's how legends are made. When adversity shows up again, and it will, smile at it. Not because you love the fight, but because you love who you become through it. That smile is not weakness. It is your strength revealed. It is your silent declaration that nothing outside you can ever defeat what lives inside you. This is your time. This is your moment. You've complained long enough. You've questioned long enough. Now respond, and not with fear, not with retreat. Respond with power. Respond with clarity. Respond with joy. Because adversity is not here to end you. It is here to elevate you. Discipline creates happiness, especially when it's hardest. When the world feels like it's falling apart. When you have every reason to quit. When the excuses sound louder than your goals. That is when discipline becomes the doorway to peace. Not motivation, not inspiration, not luck. Discipline. Because discipline doesn't rely on feelings. It doesn't care whether you're tired, broken, or uninspired. It moves anyway. And that movement builds momentum. That momentum builds confidence. And confidence, grounded in consistent action, builds happiness that isn't shaken by circumstance. In the middle of chaos, discipline gives you control. In the storm, discipline is your anchor. When your emotions scream to react, to hide, to surrender, discipline tells you to rise. It tells you to move. It tells you to keep showing up, especially when you don't feel like it. Most people break under pressure not because they lack talent, but because they lack self-command. They wait to feel good to act right, but the ones who win, the ones who live in joy, don't wait. They decide. They act on principle. They build systems that function even when their heart feels heavy. And that's where happiness begins, not in comfort, but in consistency. You don't become strong by doing what's easy. You don't become joyful by avoiding discomfort. You become both by confronting the difficult with unshakable commitment. Discipline is choosing what's right over what's easy. It's saying no when the world says indulge. It's holding the line when the mind screams to quit. Every time you stay focused, stay honest, stay hungry, you carve a deeper sense of respect for yourself. And that respect breeds self-trust. That self-trust breeds happiness. Not the kind that fades when circumstances change, but the kind that stays with you in silence, in darkness, in difficulty. Happiness built on results is fragile. Happiness built on discipline is bulletproof. Because results can vanish, people can disappoint you, the world can collapse. But your habits, your routine, your inner framework, that stays. And it carries you through. When others are consumed by doubt, you're busy executing. When others panic, you move with purpose. Because you've trained for this. You've conditioned your mind to obey principle, not impulse. You don't rely on motivation, you rely on muscle memory, and that's what discipline is. It is the emotional muscle memory of greatness. Discipline is doing the workout when no one watches. It's studying while others scroll. It's choosing water over comfort food. It's controlling your tongue when anger rises. It's waking up with intention, not by accident. These small acts don't always feel rewarding in the moment, But over time, they build a foundation so strong that nothing can shake it. You begin to feel peace because you're no longer betraying yourself. You begin to feel joy because you're no longer out of alignment. That's real happiness, earned, not given. When life punches you in the face, discipline is what gets you back up. It's the hand you extend to yourself. It says, I know this hurts, but we move anyway. That kind of voice inside you is not born overnight. It is built through repetition, through daily choices, through saying yes to growth and no to weakness, even when that weakness comes dressed as rest, as comfort, as harmless distraction. The greatest threat to your joy isn't pain, it's permission to stay average. The world will tell you to take it easy, to give yourself a break, to be softer. But that softness, when it becomes a pattern, turns into sorrow. Because nothing kills joy faster than unfulfilled potential. Nothing eats you alive like knowing you could have been more, but chose less. Discipline silences that regret before it starts. It builds you up when no one else will. It teaches you to rely on your actions, not your circumstances, for happiness. And that makes you unstoppable. You don't rise when everything is perfect. You rise because you decided that nothing will control your outcome. Not stress, not struggle, not failure. Discipline is your rebellion against chaos. It is your proof to the world that you will not be broken. It is the statement you make every day when you do the hard thing simply because it's the right thing. And when others watch, they'll think you're gifted, lucky, blessed. But you'll know the truth. You are disciplined, and that makes all the difference. In the face of fear, discipline gives you structure. When emotion clouds your mind, discipline cuts through like a blade. It gives you clarity. It gives you routine. It gives you a sense of stability when everything else is falling apart. And that stability brings happiness. Because you are no longer reacting to life, you are leading it. You are no longer controlled by the highs and lows. You are steady, grounded, strong. Because your habits are solid. Because your choices are aligned. Because your standards are high. You don't have to love discipline to be transformed by it. You just have to do it, day after day, choice after choice. Until one day you realize that the same habits that once felt heavy now feel like freedom. And that freedom becomes joy. Not a fleeting feeling, but a foundation that holds you up through anything. You earned it, you built it, and no one can take it from you. Discipline creates happiness, especially when it's hardest, because that's when it means the most. No external force has power over your internal choice. Nothing outside of you, no failure, no rejection, no criticism, no loss, can dictate how you think, how you respond, or who you become unless you let it. The moment you surrender your mind to circumstance, you've given away the only true power you'll ever have. And that power is choice. Your ability to choose your focus, your thoughts, your beliefs, your next move, regardless of what's collapsing around you. That power is sacred. It is not for sale. It cannot be stolen. It can only be given up. And too many people give it up every single day without realizing what they've lost. They let opinion shape their worth. They let defeat define their identity. They let the noise of the world drown out the voice of their own mind. And as a result, they walk through life reacting, not creating, living as slaves to situations instead of commanders of their destiny. But the truth is this: no one has the power to ruin your day unless you grant them access. No event has the power to ruin your life unless you believe it can. No hardship has the power to break you unless you agree to stay broken. The battle is never out there. It is always in here, in the thoughts you accept, in the meaning you assign, in the story you tell yourself about what just happened. Your inner world builds your outer world. Your inner narrative controls your outer results. And when you choose to master what happens inside, there is nothing outside that can shake you. Pain will still come, pressure will still rise, but you won't be moved by it because your roots go deeper than the surface. Your values run deeper than emotions. Your principles stand stronger than panic. That's what real power is. Not the ability to control the world, but the refusal to let the world control you. People will try to test your peace. Situations will attempt to steal your clarity, but in every moment you hold the authority. You are not your feelings. You are not your mistakes. You are not your environment. You are the observer of all of that. You are the one who gets to decide what to amplify, what to eliminate, and what to embody. That decision is yours every single day. And it must be made consciously. If you don't choose your state, your environment will choose it for you. If you don't define your mindset, your mood will define it for you. If you don't lead yourself from within, you will be dragged by forces you'll never control. No storm has the right to steal your stillness. No setback has the right to rewrite your identity. No chaos has the right to overrule your character unless you hand it over. And that handover happens in moments of hesitation, when you forget who you are and start reacting instead of responding. But those moments are where transformation begins. Because once you become aware that the choice is always yours, you reclaim everything. You reclaim your time, your focus, your strength. You stop begging the world to be fair and start becoming someone who doesn't need fairness to flourish. Control doesn't mean everything goes your way. It means nothing can control your way of thinking. It means anchoring your spirit so deeply in discipline, clarity, and truth that even when the winds howl and the pressure mounts, your direction never changes. It means walking through betrayal with your head high. It means carrying purpose even when the applause fades. It means speaking strength into your soul when your circumstances scream weakness. It's not easy, but it's freedom. The kind of freedom no one can give you and no one can take from you. When you start living like this, everything changes. Your environment doesn't need to be perfect because you are becoming powerful. Your relationships stop defining your joy because you define your value. Your dreams stop being dependent on outside validation because you have decided to trust your own voice above all others. That internal shift is everything. That's when your life starts aligning with vision instead of emotion. That's when your time starts being shaped by intention instead of reaction. That's when your path becomes untouchable, not because it's smooth, but because you won't be moved. Never again say, "They made me angry." Never again say, "It ruined my day." Nothing and no one has that kind of power unless you give it away. Start speaking the truth to yourself. I decide what I think. I decide how I feel. I decide who I am no matter what happens. That mindset doesn't just create success. It creates peace. It creates joy. It creates a life that is led from within and built to last. Because when your choices are rooted in principles, not emotions, your foundation becomes unshakable. So the next time life tests you, remember this isn't happening to you. It's happening for you, to remind you of your power, to invite you back into leadership of your own mind, to wake you up from the illusion that your happiness is in anyone else's hands. It's not. It never was. It never will be. No external force has power over your internal choice. And that truth, once fully owned, makes you unstoppable. Every morning you either rise with intention or sink into excuses. There is no neutral ground. The moment your eyes open, you're either stepping into your day with purpose or surrendering to the same stories that have kept you stuck. Your first thoughts determine the entire tone of your day. That voice inside, whether strong or weak, sets the direction. If you begin with hesitation, you'll find yourself chasing the hours, apologizing to time, reacting to everything instead of leading anything. But if you begin with clarity, if you begin with conviction, if you begin by choosing discipline over comfort, you become unstoppable before the world even gets a chance to pull you down. Excuses are not harmless, they are thieves. They steal momentum, opportunity, and dignity. And they show up dressed as comfort, logic, and reason. They tell you to stay in bed a little longer, to put things off until tomorrow, to wait until you feel ready. But there is no such thing as ready. There is only willing. Willing to move before you're comfortable, willing to lead yourself before you're certain, willing to chase your purpose even when doubt screams louder than courage. The morning is your proving ground. That first hour determines whether you're in control or being controlled. If you don't seize it, it will seize you. The people who rise with intention are not different in their challenges. They still feel tired. They still feel fear, but they choose to act anyway. They command their environment before it commands them. They don't check their phones first, they check their minds. They don't wait to be inspired, they generate their fire. They set their standards before the day sets its traps. Because they understand one truth, if you don't set the tone for your day, the world will set it for you. and the world doesn't care about your potential. Rising with intention means declaring who you are and what you stand for before anything else has a say. It means getting ahead of your emotions, ahead of your doubts, ahead of the distractions that are waiting to pull you off course. Or it means owning your time before someone else owns it for you. It is not about perfection, it is about power. The power to lead your energy, your focus, your habits. That power doesn't come later in the day. It is born in those first few decisions, the ones no one sees, but everyone will feel in your results. If you start your morning dragging yourself out of bed, checking notifications, feeding on the noise of the world, don't be surprised when your day feels chaotic, heavy, and unfocused. You handed over your direction to things that don't serve you. But when you start with breath, with silence, with purpose, with movement, with vision, you become untouchable because you've already anchored yourself in something deeper than distraction. And from that place, everything changes. Your mind is clearer, your words are sharper, your choices are bolder. You don't need the world to be calm when you are calm inside. You don't need the path to be easy when you have already chosen to be strong. Excuses are not just about what you don't do, they are about what you allow to become your identity. Every time you let one pass, you tell your mind it's okay to be less than what you're capable of. You build a habit of hiding, and soon it becomes who you are. That's how people lose years, one excuse at a time. But when you rise with intention, you reclaim it all. You look in the mirror and say, this is who I am, this is what I'm building, this is where I'm going. And nothing will distract me from that. You don't have to feel like it, or you don't have to have perfect conditions. You just have to decide. And that decision must be made every single morning. No one else will make it for you. No one else will force you to grow. No one else will stop you from staying average. It's on you. And that's a gift. Because once you accept that truth, no one can hold you back. Not your past, not your circumstances, not even in your own fear. Because fear loses its power when you show up anyway. Doubt dissolves when action takes over. Excuses disappear when identity leads. The strongest people are not the ones who had the easiest mornings. They are the ones who made the hardest choices consistently. The ones who set their alarms not just to wake up, but to rise up. The ones who prepared their minds like athletes prepare their bodies. The ones who refused to let a lazy feeling become a lazy life. Their strength was built in the silence of early hours, when no one was watching and every part of them wanted to hit snooze. That's where champions are made, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows of disciplined mornings. So ask yourself, what are you rising for? What is the mission that pulls you out of bed? What is the standard you refuse to drop? What is the legacy you're building one morning at a time? Because whether you realize it or not, your life is being shaped by your mornings. They are either building the future you crave or burying it beneath excuses. And the choice is always yours. Every single day, without fail, the clock resets. And when it does, you either rise with intention or you sink into excuses. Your thoughts create your emotional atmosphere. Master them. The moment you allow a thought to enter unchecked, you invite it to build your reality. Every emotion you feel, every reaction you give, every decision you make is shaped by the thoughts you entertain. Thoughts are not harmless. They are seeds. And those seeds grow into beliefs, into moods, into identity. If your mind is filled with fear, your world will feel unsafe. If your mind is filled with doubt, your life will feel stuck. But if your mind is focused, intentional, and clear, you will find strength in places others collapse. You cannot afford to treat thoughts casually. One negative pattern repeated often enough becomes your truth. One doubt entertained long enough becomes your limitation. Your emotional state is not a mystery, it is a mirror. It reflects what you've been thinking, what you've been feeding your mind, what you've allowed to take root. And most people don't realize they're running on autopilot. They wake up anxious not because of reality, but because their thoughts are undisciplined. They react with anger not because of others, but because their inner dialogue is aggressive. They feel hopeless, not because there's no path forward, but because their thoughts keep telling them they're not enough. You are not what you feel. You are what you think repeatedly. And if you want to feel different, you must think different. You must take control of your inner world like a general leads his army. No emotion without reason, no thought without inspection, no mental pattern without purpose. Your mind is a battlefield, and your thoughts are your soldiers. If you don't give them orders, they will run wild. And wild thoughts never lead to peace. They lead to chaos, confusion, emotional exhaustion. But mastered thoughts create clarity, direction, and a state of calm power. That's not a gift. That's a discipline. You cannot let every thought become a tenant in your mind. Some thoughts are invaders. Some are thieves. Some come from fear, from the past, from people who projected their limits onto you. And just because a thought shows up doesn't mean it belongs. You must become the gatekeeper of your mind. Stand at the door, alert and intentional. Ask every thought, who sent you? What do you want from me? Do you serve my purpose, or do you weaken my focus? If the thought doesn't build you, it has no right to stay. Mastering your thoughts doesn't mean you'll never have dark ones. It means you don't believe them, you don't feed them. You don't let them steer your day or stain your vision. The strongest people have dark thoughts too. They just don't let them lead. They've trained themselves to pivot, to interrupt the pattern, to replace the lie with truth. They don't just think, they observe their thinking. And that awareness is where freedom begins. You can't change what you're not aware of. But once you see the pattern, once you name the thought, you weaken its grip, and then you replace it with something stronger. Gratitude is a weapon, vision is a weapon, truth is a weapon, and you must use these every single day to fight for the mind you want. Don't expect peace if you're constantly rehearsing chaos. Don't expect joy if your inner talk is full of resentment. Don't expect clarity if your thoughts are drenched in distraction. You have to build the emotional atmosphere you want to live in, one thought at a time, one moment at a time. Repetition is the key, not once, not twice, daily, until the right thoughts become automatic, until your mind becomes a place you can trust. You will never rise above the quality of your thoughts. They are the ceiling or the wings of your potential. And the world will try to fill your head with noise, with fear, with urgency, with lies. That's why you need a mental filter, something that protects you from absorbing what doesn't belong to your mission. You have to choose what you allow in, because once it's in, it will grow. That's how it works. Focus on pain, and pain expands. Focus on purpose, and purpose expands. Focus on growth, and growth expands. It's not magic, it's mental alignment. And once you lock into that, everything begins to shift. You don't need to feel amazing all the time, but you do need to think with clarity all the time. Feelings follow thoughts, always. You start thinking about everything that's wrong, your feelings drop. You start thinking about everything that's possible, your energy lifts. This is not about fake positivity, it's about mental leadership. You are the leader of your mind, and leadership requires responsibility. You must be responsible for the tone, the language, the focus of your thinking. You must treat your thoughts like assets, not accidents. Your emotional atmosphere affects how you speak, how you walk, how you treat others, how you face challenges, how you interpret opportunity. And every piece of it starts with the quality of your thoughts. If you want to feel empowered, you must think empowered. If you want to feel hopeful, you must think with vision. If you want to feel calm, you must think with order. This is the real work, the silent work, the daily, unglamorous internal war. But if you win it, everything else becomes easier. It's not about eliminating every negative thought. It's about creating an environment where they can't thrive, where your dominant patterns are so strong, so intentional, so clear, that negativity cannot take root. You become unshakable, not because you never wobble, but because your mind always returns to center, always returns to purpose, always returns to truth. And that is the power of a mastered mind. That is the source of emotional control. That is the secret most people ignore. Your thoughts create your emotional atmosphere. Master them. No one is coming to save you from misery. It's your duty to rescue yourself. If you're waiting for someone to notice your struggle, waiting for a break, waiting for life to get easier, you're already surrendering your power. Misery doesn't dissolve on its own. It deepens when ignored. And the longer you wait for someone else to pull you out, the deeper the roots of helplessness grow. No one knows the full weight you carry. No one sees every sleepless night, every silent scream, every moment you pretend you're fine. So stop expecting a rescue. No one is more qualified to pull you out than you. The moment you take ownership of your emotional state, you begin the climb, Yes, it's hard. Yes, it feels unfair. But the truth is, no one else can do this for you. They can support, they can encourage, but they cannot crawl inside your mind and change how you think. They cannot inject you with discipline. They cannot force you to fight. That decision is yours, and yours alone. The people who transform their lives are not the ones with the easiest paths. They're the ones who finally said, enough, I'm not staying here. They realize that misery may not be their fault, but healing is their responsibility. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to start. Start taking one honest action that moves you out of your current state. Get up and move your body, even when you're tired. Speak truth to your pain, even when it shakes your voice. Cut off the excuses that protect your comfort zone. Turn off the noise that feeds your doubts. This is not about pretending life is fine. It's about refusing to stay stuck. You have the capacity to change, but capacity means nothing without decision. And decision means nothing without action. This life will test you. It will strip away illusions. It will put you face to face with your lowest moments. And in those moments, the question is not who will help me. It's will I help myself? Will you be the person who rises even when broken? Will you be the one who speaks light into darkness even when you can't see the end? You don't need outside permission to begin healing. You don't need anyone's validation to rebuild your mindset. You just need the courage to face yourself without lies, the strength to sit in discomfort without quitting, and the vision to believe something better is on the other side, even if no one else sees it yet. No one sees the war you fight within, but you do. You know the thoughts that try to drown you. You know the habits that keep you numb. You know the patterns that repeat until you scream. And because you see it, you have the power to change it. Misery is not just emotional. It becomes behavioral. It becomes a cycle. And cycles don't break with time. They break with choice. Brutal, honest, repeated choice. You have to be relentless with the version of yourself that wants to stay broken. That version may have a voice, but it doesn't get a vote. You're the one who decides who you become from this point forward. Waiting is the slow death of potential. Every day you delay owning your power, you're reinforcing weakness. You are teaching yourself that rescue is external when it has always been internal. Stop scrolling for answers. Stop numbing yourself with distractions. Stop believing the lie that you're not capable. You are not helpless. You are powerful. But power must be claimed. It's not handed to you. It's forged through decisions no one sees, through inner work no one applauds, through persistence no one understands. This is your rescue mission, and the only person equipped for it is the one in the mirror. Let others live in denial. Let others drown in excuses. You are not others. You are here because something in you knows that your life isn't meant to be endured. It's meant to be shaped. And the chisel is your mindset. The hammer is your discipline. The blueprint is your vision. Misery only has power when you stop building. So build, especially when it's hardest. Build when you're tired. Build when no one believes in you. Build when the voice in your head tells you it's pointless. Because that's the voice that's lied to you long enough. And you owe it to yourself to stop listening. Self-rescue doesn't mean you never fall. It means you rise every time. It means you train yourself to respond with action instead of avoidance, with courage instead of fear, with direction instead of doubt. Misery wants you to remain passive, but you were not built to be passive. You were built to move, to lead, to rise. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a relentless will. You need a reason so strong it silences every excuse. And if you haven't found that reason yet, look in the mirror. Your future self is begging you not to quit. There is no white horse coming, no perfect moment arriving. There is only now, and what you choose to do with it. You can scroll, you can sit, you can wish, or you can act. You can take ownership of your energy. You can rewire your thoughts. You can take one hard step today, then another tomorrow. And one day you'll look back and realize you didn't just survive the misery. You outgrew it. You turned it into momentum. You turned your breakdown into breakthrough. That is what happens when you stop waiting for someone else to save you. That is what happens when you become your own rescue. Choose gratitude even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. Because that's the very moment when your mind wants to break, when your emotions spiral into darkness, when your heart tightens around pain instead of purpose. And that is exactly when gratitude becomes your most powerful weapon. Not the kind of shallow gratitude that lists surface-level things to feel better, but the kind that rips through your excuses and reminds you, you are still here. You are still capable. You are still breathing. And as long as you are breathing, you have the power to choose how you respond to life. Gratitude is not a reward for the comfortable. It is a discipline for the warriors. Anyone can be grateful when everything's working. But your true strength is revealed when nothing makes sense, when everything hurts, and yet you still whisper, thank you. Thank you for the chance to fight. Thank you for the challenge that's forcing me to grow. Thank you for the pain that's showing me where I'm still soft, still weak, still unfinished. This is not delusion, it's decision. The decision to stop waiting for perfect conditions to appreciate your life. The decision to stop defining your worth by what's missing and start seeing what's possible through struggle. You must train yourself to see differently, to look at the wreckage and find a reason to rebuild, to face the chaos and declare there is still something here for me. Because if you don't, if you only allow yourself to be grateful when it's easy, you'll live in constant emotional debt. Waiting, longing, blaming, chasing feelings instead of creating strength. Real gratitude doesn't just shift your focus, it resets your entire nervous system. It changes your posture. It transforms victimhood into victory. It helps you override the story that says, this is the end, and write a new one that says, this is where I begin again. You don't need more time to be thankful. You need more truth. The truth is, you've survived everything up to this point. The truth is, you're more resilient than you think. The truth is, even if the world forgets you, you have the power to remember yourself. Gratitude reminds you of your worth when life tries to bury it. Gratitude shows you the light when your mind shows you darkness. Gratitude is not weakness. It is rebellion against defeat. You can be broken and grateful at the same time. You can cry and still say thank you. That's what makes you unshakable. Stop waiting to feel ready. Start practicing it now. In the pain, in the exhaustion, in the silence no one else hears. Gratitude is a muscle, and if you don't use it, it atrophies. But if you do, if you force yourself to see even the smallest gain, the tiniest victory, the briefest spark of growth, you will become a different person. A person who doesn't just survive storms, but learns to dance inside them. A person who bends but doesn't break, who bleeds but never bows. Because gratitude, when chosen under fire, becomes your shield, your sword, and your sanity. You don't owe the world happiness, but you owe yourself the discipline to find power in the chaos. And gratitude is power. It is clarity. It is energy. You think it's soft, but it's steel. It keeps your mind from crumbling when pressure mounts. It keeps your spirit from rotting in self-pity. It wakes you up when you want to shut down. And it gives you control over the only thing you ever truly own, your attitude. You can't always control pain. You can't always fix problems right away, but you can control your perception. And the most powerful perception is this: there is something in this moment to be grateful for, and I will find it. Pain is a liar. It tells you that nothing good is left, that hope is gone, that this is the end. Gratitude tells the truth. It whispers, look closer. Look at the breath in your lungs. Look at the fight still in your soul. Look at how far you've already come. You've overcome things that once felt impossible. You've buried versions of yourself that no longer served you. You've stood up after being knocked down more times than you can count. Gratitude helps you see the full picture. Not just the wound, but the warrior. Not just the loss, but the lesson. Not just the pain, but the path through it. You don't practice gratitude because life is always good. You practice it because you are determined to get stronger. You practice it because you refuse to let circumstances dictate your inner world. You practice it because no matter how dark it gets, you believe somewhere deep inside that you were made for more than just surviving. You were made to rise, and rise again, and rise again. Gratitude is your anchor in that rise. It keeps you grounded while the storm rages. It keeps you centered when everything else spins. Don't wait for someone to hand you joy. Don't wait for your environment to change before you change your state. Gratitude is the switch. It turns pain into perspective. It turns chaos into clarity. It turns wounds into wisdom. You may not control what breaks around you, but you can absolutely control what builds within you. So choose gratitude, not once, not someday, every single time it hurts. Because when it hurts, and you still choose gratitude, you're not just surviving, you're conquering. So let this be the day you stop negotiating with your pain and start commanding your power. No more waiting for peace to arrive, you bring it. No more searching for joy, you generate it. No more hoping for the right moment. You declare this moment as the right one. Gratitude is not a feeling you stumble into. It is a choice you forge in the fire. And the harder life gets, the louder your gratitude must become. Because that's how you win, not once, not temporarily, but permanently. You become unbreakable, not because life gets easier, but because you get sharper, clearer, stronger. While others react, you respond. While others sink, you rise. So every day when it hurts most, when you feel least like it, choose gratitude. Choose strength. Choose to push yourself forward with purpose. That's how happiness is built, not found, not given, built by you. Starting now.
Save time creating content and generate a high-quality clone of your voice with 11 Labs. Change the way you record podcasts, voiceovers, and branded content with the #1 AI-powered voice-generating technology. Stop searching for the perfect voice and stop wasting time re-recording take after take. Try 11 Labs for free and start elevating your content today.
Are you doubting if the reward will ever come? Have you set a timeline, 1 year, 5 years, 10, and watch the dates pass like shadows, with no sign of your breakthrough, no confirmation of progress, no reward for your obedience? Does it feel like the heavens have closed, like your desire has betrayed you, like perhaps you were never meant to succeed after all? Then hear me now and hear me well. You are not delayed because you are denied. You are delayed because you are being designed. You are not behind schedule. You are exactly where infinite intelligence needs you to be for the formation of your strength, the purification of your spirit, and the preparation of your destiny. This silence is not abandonment. It is a sacred test. And the man who listens to this message, who takes every word into his bones, who walks by these principles and obeys these laws, will never doubt again. Not because the trial ends, but because he becomes the man who is no longer moved by delay. He understands that God's timing is exact and that miracles are never rushed. They are revealed at the appointed hour. If you are weary from waiting, tired of hoping, tempted to quit, then this is your summons. Listen to this, and you will never walk by doubt again. Part 1, delay is the first proof that the dream is real. If your reward were meant to be small, it would have arrived by now. But the fact that you are waiting, the fact that it has not yet come, is not proof of denial. It is the first and greatest proof that the dream you carry is of substance. Delay is heaven's way of verifying whether your desire is a spark or a flame. Only flames are worthy of fuel. The size of your dream determines the size of your delay. A man who wishes for ease will be given quickly what he asks, for it costs the universe nothing. But the man who dares to demand greatness, who seeks wealth, purpose, power, and legacy, he will be delayed, not because he is forgotten, but because the structure must be fortified first. Too many lose heart in the delay because they believe the silence means denial. But silence is not opposition. It is refinement. It is the pause between planting and harvest. You are not being punished. You are being proven. Delay is divine filtration. It separates the imitators from the initiated, the weak from the worthy, the pretenders from the prepared. The first question that must be answered in the realm of success is not, what do you want? But, can you remain obedient in the absence of reward? If you require evidence before you persist, your desire is counterfeit. If you collapse when nothing happens, you were never worthy of what you claim to pursue. But if you stand calm, focused, unwavering, then you rise. You must understand the nature of delay. It is not punishment. It is permission. It is the spiritual signal that your request has been received, and that now you must be weighed, because no man is handed the crown until he has first passed through the furnace. No man receives the treasure who faints when the wind blows. Delay is not a curse. It is a calling. Let us turn our eyes to Thomas Edison. For years he toiled, attempt after attempt, failure after failure. He did not cry out. He did not curse the delay. He remained in belief. He understood what most men will never grasp, that the delay was confirmation. 10,000 trials and still no result, yet no bitterness, only belief. And because of it, the light came. Would the light have arrived had he quit? Number, would it have appeared had he questioned the process? Number, the result was not produced merely by effort, but by faith that endured the delay without collapsing. That is the power I call you to build. That is the strength I call you to command. Now say this aloud. I welcome the delay. It proves the treasure is real. I do not faint. I do not panic. I persist with dignity. I walk by faith, not by clock. Speak it until it becomes your weapon in silence. Speak it when your emotions scream for evidence. Speak it when nothing moves, because that is when you are being moved inward. Understand this principle. That which comes quickly often leaves quickly. The riches of life are not scattered, they are summoned. And the summoning takes time. Time to shape you, time to reveal you, time to mature your spirit. Delay is not a wall, it is a bridge. Walk it. Those who quit during delay were never worthy. I say this without apology. A man who abandons his aim at the sound of delay proves he did not want the dream. He wanted the comfort of illusion. He was not a builder, he was a beggar, but those who endure delay are silently advanced. Though the world sees no movement, heaven does. This is the law. The greater the reward, the greater the resistance. And resistance includes delay, because delay tests what cannot be seen. It tests your focus, your language, your energy, your discipline. It reveals what you truly believe. And the man who speaks faith during delay is the man who is trusted with miracles. Delay is your preparation. Delay is your sharpening. Delay is the invisible hand that cuts away your fears, burns away your pride, and constructs the inner man worthy of the outer prize. Do not despise it. Do not flee from it. Use it. Make every hour of delay a builder of patience, of prayer, of posture and power. It is only the man who persists through delay that comes to know himself. All others are exposed by it. Delay strips away excuse. It silences hype. It reveals whether your dream was yours or borrowed from others. And when the man persists after all that, then, and only then, is the door opened. You must make a decision today. A decision that no delay will cancel your commitment. A decision that the length of time has no power over the depth of your belief. A decision that says, I do not ask for speed. I ask for strength. I do not seek ease. I seek endurance. That is the language of power. When a seed is planted, it does not sprout overnight. There are days, weeks, sometimes months where no progress is visible. But beneath the soil, work is being done. Roots are growing. Systems are strengthening. And when the sprout finally breaks the surface, it does so not as a guess, but as a guarantee that the time was not wasted. So it is with your dream. The delay is beneath the surface. Do not let the absence of visible progress deceive you. Your faith is being rooted. Your discipline is being formed. Your subconscious is being instructed. And soon the surface will break, not because of luck, but because of law. Say this again and write it on the tablet of your spirit. Delay is heaven's first sign that something of worth is on its way. I will not rush it. I will not fear it. I will outlast it. Let the world move without you. Let others rise before you. Let the noise pass. You remain, you persist, and you will not be denied. Because delay is not the death of your dream. It is the confirmation that it is alive and growing. Let us continue. Part 2, infinite intelligence works by law, not by clock. You have made a great mistake if you have been watching the calendar, measuring your progress by days and months and years. Time is man's invention. Law is God's. And infinite intelligence does not concern itself with your watch or your deadline. It concerns itself only with readiness, with order, with precision. The universe does not deliver blessings according to the impatience of man. It delivers them by spiritual law, by rhythm, by cause and effect, by definiteness, by obedience. And when you understand this, you will no longer cry because your miracle has not yet arrived. You will rise instead and ask, am I aligned with the law? Too many confuse the absence of results with the absence of favor. But favor is not measured by speed. Favor is measured by alignment. You may wait 5 years, 10 years, but if those years are filled with obedience, with silence, with faith, with refinement, then the reward will come with such force that the years will collapse in a moment. You must stop asking, when will I receive? And start asking, am I ready to receive? Because infinite intelligence does not reward need. It rewards readiness. It does not deliver based on demand. It delivers based on law. And law has no emotion, no sympathy, no compromise. It only answers to order. Let us consider the life of Henry Ford. Before his vision reshaped industry, before his name became legend, he endured public failure, investor doubt, industrial sabotage. But Ford did not panic. He did not alter his course. Why? Because he was not moving by the approval of man. He was not rushing to fit another man's timeline. He moved by purpose, not pressure. When they mocked him for his determination to build a car for the common man, he did not abandon his plan. He obeyed what he knew. He followed his definite chief aim. And because he walked by law, not by haste, time bowed to him. His reward arrived, not when he wanted, but when he was ready to handle its weight. Say it now. I move by law, not by pressure. I grow by order, not by haste. This is not poetry. It is survival. It is protection against the anxiety that eats the heart of the undisciplined. If you move by pressure, you will break. But if you move by law, you cannot be broken. Let this truth govern your everyday. When you obey the law, time bows to you. When you violate the law, you sabotage your own result. The law does not care about your goals. It only honors your preparation. You may speak success all day, but if your thoughts, your schedule, your relationships, your emotions are disorderly, then you have violated the law. Law is spiritual gravity. You cannot see it, but you can feel its pull. And when you align your mind, your faith, your attention, your purpose with that law, delay disappears. Because it was never delay that held you back. It was misalignment. Correct the inner structure, and time becomes your servant. This is why spiritual growth must never be measured by calendars, but by character. Not how long you've waited, but how well you've waited. Have you grown? Have you clarified? Have you controlled your speech? Have you directed your thought? Have you shown infinite intelligence that your foundation will not collapse when the treasure is placed upon it? If the answer is yes, the law will respond. If the answer is no, the law will remain silent, not out of cruelty, but out of justice. For to reward a man who is unprepared is not mercy.
Factory price. जब आए सर पे मुसीबतों का पहाड़ तो क्यों न पहले ही पहन लो इंश्योरेंस का हार कहते हैं इंश्योरेंस के नाम पे
सिर्फ फ्रॉड है।
बेटा क्या बताएं, तुम्हारी सोच ही फ्लॉड है। एक बार ट्राई कीजिए तो पता चले पॉलिसी ऑप्शंस काफी ब्रॉड हैं। बाजी का मशवरा है, वही सबसे खरा है, भला की ये सलाह है। जैस कैश इंश्योरेंस को सोचो, समझो, कर लो, मान लो, यही आसानी है, वरना आगे परेशानी परेशानी है।
Sabotage, and the law will never betray itself. Let this be your guardrail. If the result is not yet here, it is not because it is being withheld, it is because something in you is still being ordered. Something in you is still being purified. Something in you is still being adjusted. The gift is not late, it is exact. You must be exact in return. This is the difference between the average man and the extraordinary one. The average man wants reward by date. The extraordinary man wants reward by law. The average man wants comfort on schedule. The extraordinary man wants purpose on command. That is why the extraordinary man is remembered, and the average is not. Time can lie to you. Law never does. Time can make you think you've waited long enough. Law says you'll receive it when you're aligned. Time tells you to rush. Law tells you to refine. Time urges you to quit. Law commands you to persist. Choose the master you will serve, either the noise of the clock or the silence of the law. You are being tested, not by time, but by principle. Not by delay, but by instruction. Every day you remain faithful to your aim is a brick laid in the foundation of your reward. And when that structure is complete, the result will rush to you as if it had been waiting for your permission. Do not resent the process. Do not curse the stillness. Do not envy the man who receives his reward quickly. He may be receiving something shallow. But you are being built for depth, for greatness, for permanence. And that cannot be microwaved. It must be forged. Say this again. I do not move by the calendar. I move by the covenant. I do not panic by delay. I prepare by law. And when I am ready, the result will appear. Let this speak louder than your fears. Let this speak louder than your friends. Let this become the rhythm of your inner world. You are not forgotten. You are not stalled. You are being measured. You are being instructed. And when you move in perfect harmony with the law, no man, no obstacle, no circumstance can prevent the arrival of what you've been prepared to carry. Time is for the masses. Law is for the master. Choose which one will govern your destiny. Let us continue. Part 3. The dream must first fit the dreamer. Do you truly believe that you can walk into your dream as you are now? Do you imagine that a purpose great enough to shift your life, bless others, and stand the test of time will be entrusted to a man who has not yet been made strong enough to carry it? No reward is ever greater than the man who receives it. The dream must first fit the dreamer. You are not waiting for the blessing is waiting for you to become someone worthy of it. God does not give wealth to the man who will be crushed by it. He does not give power to the man who will misuse it. He does not give influence to the man who seeks applause more than responsibility. He delays until the man is shaped. And this is why delay must not be feared. It must be understood. You are not being punished. You are being matured. You are being hollowed out in areas where pride still lives, sharpened in places where you've been vague, disciplined in your thinking, restructured in your habits. God is not slow. He is exact. Let us turn our eyes to Abraham Lincoln, a man of vision, a man of principle, but not immediately a man of readiness. He failed in business. He lost in election after election. He suffered ridicule, depression, and long stretches of obscurity. But through that delay, he was being prepared to carry the Union through war. Lincoln was not simply delayed. He was being transformed. Every failure carved out more patience. Every loss stripped away pride. Every disappointment created a deeper root system. So when the presidency arrived, he was not surprised. He was not inflated, he was simply ready. Because the man had finally fit the mission. You are in the same shaping process. The delay is your sculptor. And every time you endure another hour without giving up, another day without drifting, another setback without self-pity, you are becoming the man who can wear the crown without being consumed by it. The prize will not change to fit you. You must change to fit the prize. Say this aloud: my blessing is being shaped to match my maturity. When I am ready, it will arrive. Until then, I prepare, I obey, I remain. The immature man demands results on his own schedule. He believes the dream is something he can grab with his current character. But the wise man studies himself, disciplines himself, watches his habits, refines his motives, and understands that the delay is not holding him back. It is building him up. It is easy to dream, but dreams are heavy. They require stamina. They require structure. They require the ability to withstand public failure, internal fatigue, and spiritual opposition without collapsing. The dream is not given because you want it. It is given because you become identical to what it requires. So ask yourself now, have I built the structure to carry it? Is my mind strong enough? Is my attention controlled? Is my language governed? Is my thinking definite? Is my spirit disciplined? Or would the blessing, if given now, break me? You do not grow by chance, you grow by design. You must begin to treat every day of delay as a day of development. Do not waste this season in distraction or complaining. Do not wander, do not wish. Work, build the internal order that matches the greatness you seek. That is how preparation becomes prophecy. Growth often feels like nothing is happening. That is the deception of delay. Because the outer world appears still, the undisciplined mind assumes that the inner world is also idle. But nothing could be further from the truth. Every hour of belief during delay is construction happening in silence. You are not merely waiting. You are being assembled. The man who receives the reward is not the same man who first desired it. He has been stripped, strengthened, focused, and empowered. And so the delay is not the distance between where you are and what you want. It is the process of becoming what you must be. Let this truth live in your bones. You cannot receive what you are not yet prepared to handle. So stop begging for the outcome. Start building the structure. Strengthen your character. Discipline your emotions, fortify your patience, govern your tongue, and when the man is formed, the mission will find him. God delays not to tease you, but to preserve you. If he gave you the full vision today, it would overwhelm you. If he handed you the full reward now, it would crush your foundation. The delay is the divine way of matching the weight of the blessing to the strength of your being. Say it again. The dream is real, but I must be made equal to it. And every moment of waiting is shaping me to carry what I once could only imagine. Do not fight the process. Do not resent the construction. Do not envy the man who appears to move faster. He may be receiving something light. But you are being built for the mountain, not the valley. Your blessing is not shallow. It is structured. And so the delay is not a pause. It is preparation. You must now choose whether you will be impatient or prepared, whether you will fantasize or fortify, whether you will wait as a beggar or be built as a king. The dream must fit the dreamer, and you are the one being shaped. Part 4. When God seems silent, he is watching your response. There comes a point in every pursuit where the heavens go quiet, where your prayers echo back unanswered, where your actions yield no visible fruit, and where your soul whispers, "Is anyone even listening?" In this moment, most men fall, but I say to you, this silence is not neglect. It is observation. God does not speak while he watches, and when infinite intelligence appears to be silent, it is not because you are abandoned. It is because you are being measured. Not by your words, but by your response. Not by your outer success, but by your inner stillness. For in silence the soul is revealed. Every man wants proof before obedience, but silence is the test that separates servants from sons. It reveals whether your pursuit was built on excitement or conviction, on emotion or decision. And so the silence that surrounds you now is sacred. It is where the real man is seen. It is where the reward is decided. You must stop thinking that silence means you've been forgotten. It means you are being watched. God is not deaf. He is deliberate. And when he sees that you can obey without applause, that you can build without feedback, that you can persist without confirmation, then he releases what he was holding in reserve. Most people cry in silence, but few command themselves in it. Most become passive, uncertain, emotional. But the man who understands divine timing becomes still, not because he has answers, but because he trusts the law. He knows that silence is not the absence of progress. It is the presence of examination. Let us look at Andrew Carnegie, a man who rose from factory floor to the peak of industry. Do you believe his ascent was constant and noise-filled? Number. He spent years in silent obedience, serving men far beneath the level he knew he could become. But he did not complain. He studied, he worked, he prepared. It was not speed that gave Carnegie his success. It was discipline in silence. While others mocked or demanded shortcuts, he remained silent, focused, and definite. And when the hour came, infinite intelligence released a reward that no man could deny, because the silence had trained him, and God had watched him pass the test. Write this into your spirit. I remain faithful in the silence. I stay obedient in the stillness. I am not moved by noise or delay. I am governed by law. If your dream were given to you without silence, you would treat it like a cheap possession. You would not protect it. You would not understand it. You would believe it came by your own hand. But silence teaches you reverence. It teaches you patience. It teaches you to treasure what you one day shall receive. The silence teaches self-mastery. Because in silence there is no crowd to impress. There is no audience to applaud. There is only you, your decisions, your thoughts, your repetitions. And the man who becomes his own commander in this stillness cannot be overthrown when the world begins to speak again. It is not the noise that determines your future. It is how you behave in the void, because in the void, you are seen. When no one is watching, infinite intelligence is. When no one is clapping, your thoughts are echoing. When no one answers, your spirit is being graded, and that grade determines your access. Stop begging for signs. Start building structure. Stop pleading for feedback. Start perfecting your formula. Stop watching the sky. Start governing your attention, because the man who proves his readiness in silence will never again question his worth when the gates open. Do not confuse silence with inaction. The silence of God is the stillness before release. It is the tightening of the bow before the arrow flies. It is the quiet before the trumpet. It is the final test before appointment. And if you can remain faithful here, you will rule there. Say it again and mean it. The silence is not punishment, it is preparation. My faith is louder than the void. My spirit obeys even when heaven speaks not a word. I say to you with urgency, how you respond now determines what you receive next.
Get the top restaurants in town delivered straight to your door. Download the foodpanda app and order food you love.
No more borders, no more fear.
No more defeat. Think no more smallness. Speak your affirmation aloud. Repeat your chief aim daily. Control your attention. Direct your emotions. Command your thoughts. All of this in silence. If your obedience requires applause, it is false. If your belief needs evidence, it is weak. If your focus drifts because your plan is not praised, you have not yet been forged. The man who cannot walk in silence will collapse in success. But the man who governs himself here, he shall never fall. Do not waste this hour. This silence is not empty, it is sacred. Every minute of self-control during this season is a blueprint for the palace you will soon enter. Every act of faith without evidence is a seed for harvest. And the one who remains unshaken in silence becomes unshakable in power. Write this law upon your mirror, upon your books, upon your heart. Silence increases my strength. Stillness builds my structure. I do not demand sound. I demand growth. And when the silence ends, and it will end, you will not have to chase your reward. It will find you already dressed in readiness, already standing in mastery, already proven in posture. And the world will call you lucky, but heaven will call you faithful. Part 5, the delay is your training ground, not your prison. You have believed the lie that because you are not yet where you want to be, you must be stuck. But there is no such thing as stagnation for the man who obeys purpose. The delay you despise is not a prison. It is your training ground. It is not a punishment. It is the preparation hall of kings. God does not send warriors into battle without drilling them. He does not place crowns on untrained heads. The delay you feel is not rejection. It is rigorous spiritual conditioning. You are being trained in disciplines no comfort could ever teach you. Your patience is being stretched. Your focus is being sharpened. Your instincts are being purified. Do not curse the delay. Command it. Use it. Learn from it. Because the reward you are asking for requires more strength than you now possess. And this delay is where that strength is being forged. The silence is your classroom. The stillness is your forge. The monotony is your muscle builder. What feels like a cage is in fact a corridor. You are being ushered through unseen lessons, through mental drills, through obedience tests. And every day you endure without complaint, every day you persist without confirmation, is a certificate being stamped with your worthiness to rise. Let us look to Charles M. Schwab, who faced steel market collapse, financial storms, and relentless doubt. Yet he rose, not because the world was kind, but because the delay developed him. The very economic furnace that burned others to ash refined him. He was trained by pressure, sharpened by setback, molded by resistance, and so he could carry power without falling. You must embrace this mindset. I am not being delayed, I am being trained. Every hardship is a lesson, every trial is a tool, every quiet day is a construction site for the soul. Your speech is being trained, your emotions are being governed, your endurance is being built, and the man who trains in private cannot be defeated in public. Say this with authority. I train while I wait. I grow while I'm delayed. I will not waste the wilderness. Speak it until it becomes your mental posture. Write it until it etches into your behavior. Believe it until the delay feels like preparation rather than punishment. You do not become a master in moments of victory. You become a master in the hours no one sees, in the dark places, in the routine, in the repetition. When no light shines and no praise comes and no sign appears, that is where the general is formed. That is where the inner man is born. You are not being overlooked. You are being overhauled. Every inconsistency in your discipline is being revealed. Every weakness in your focus is being shown. Every frailty in your belief is being tested. This is not a delay to stop you. It is the divine system preparing you for territory that will destroy the untrained. Do not be fooled. Many receive opportunity too early and are crushed by it. They did not spend time in the wilderness. They avoided the training ground. And so their rise was short, their fall inevitable. You, however, are being protected by the process. The longer the delay, the deeper the root. And the deeper the root, the greater the glory. This delay is forcing you to build foundations no one else sees. While others rush for the surface, you are being drilled down into patience, obedience, stillness, and control. They may appear to move faster, but your rise will be stronger. Because what you build in discipline, no storm can take from you. Say it again. This is not my prison. This is my proving ground. I do not rot, I rise. I do not complain, I command. I do not wander, I train. Now observe this. The only ones who call it prison are those who waste it. But the man who uses every moment of delay to study, to repeat, to sharpen, to build, that man calls it preparation. And he will not envy those ahead of him. For he knows that while they rise by speed, he rises by structure. If God gave you the reward today, would you have the emotional control to protect it? Would you have the spiritual obedience to steward it? Would you have the mental clarity to guide it? If the answer is no, then thank the delay. For it is not harming you, it is helping you become who the blessing requires. You are in divine boot camp. And every day of resistance is building your internal strength. Every repetition of your affirmation is training your subconscious. Every written word of your chief aim is hammering your focus into place. Every act of silence, every day you do not drift, all of it counts. Let this become your creed. While others complain, I sharpen. While others wander, I watch. While others collapse, I construct. This delay will not break me. It will brand me. This is not your end. This is not your punishment. This is your field of fire. This is your hour of becoming. The man who walks through delay without panic, without comparison, without collapse, that man walks out with a crown. Part 6. The reward only appears when you can handle it. There is a reason you have not yet received what you seek. And it is not because it was lost. It is not because it was denied. It is because if given too early, it would have destroyed you. God withholds not to punish, but to protect. The reward does not appear until the man can carry it without collapse. No man has ever sustained a vision larger than his character. To desire is not enough. To beg is not enough. To write it once and hope it arrives is not enough. You must become the kind of man who can hold what you are asking for. And until that transformation is complete, the reward shall remain just out of reach, not as cruelty, but as mercy. A child asks for a sword, but the father does not place it in his hands until he has been trained. Why? Because what is a gift in the hand of the prepared is a weapon in the hand of the unready. So it is with power. So it is with wealth. So it is with your dream. The blessing must not break you. The law is this: you do not receive what you want, you receive what you are qualified to handle, not with certificates, not with titles, but with internal readiness, emotional strength, spiritual integrity, disciplined thought, and controlled attention. The universe does not reward potential, it rewards preparedness. Let us examine the life of John D. Rockefeller. The wealth he carried would have buried a lesser man. But before it came, he was trained in hardship, trained in silence, trained in self-denial. He was not thrown into success. He was forged for it, because untrained riches lead only to destruction. And what of you? If the millions came today, would you know how to guard them from laziness, from fear, from drift? If the audience arrived today, would you know how to speak with authority and not vanity? If the door opened today, would you walk in with humility or ego? The delay is answering these questions for you now. You must become the man who can sustain what you receive, because it is not enough to reach the peak. You must be able to remain there. And that is why many fall. Because they reached heights their spirit had not been trained to inhabit. The wind was too strong, the air too thin, the discipline too weak. So God, in his exactness, withholds, not to tease, but to temper, not to mock, but to mold. And the man who understands this does not fight the delay. He welcomes it. He uses it. He trains under it, because he knows the delay is his shield against self-sabotage. Say this now: I will not rush the miracle. I become the man who can carry the weight. My strength will match my reward. My mind will master my mission. This is not empty speech. This is covenant. This is the law by which all enduring greatness is built. because what is attained too quickly is often abandoned too easily. But what is forged in fire becomes sacred, permanent, unshakable. You are not waiting on a dream. You are being prepared to match it. And if you refuse the training, you will forfeit the reward. Not because God changed his mind, but because you chose speed over strength and timing over truth. Your work right now is internal. Refine your habits, guard your focus, discipline your emotions, govern your thoughts. This is not punishment. This is construction. And when the structure is complete, the result will arrive, not slowly, but suddenly. Do not envy those who appear to move faster. You do not know the weight they carry or cannot carry. You do not know the cracks in their foundation. You do not know how long they will last. But you are being built for permanence. And permanence requires more time. Repeat this. When I am ready, the reward will chase me. I do not chase, it finds me. Because I obey the law, I submit to preparation. I grow into the gift. The man who builds the capacity to hold power shall never fear its arrival, because he knows that the storm of success cannot sink the ship he has anchored in training. And while others drown in what they begged for, he shall command it with peace. So hold your ground, keep building, speak your affirmations, declare your chief aim, do the unseen work, govern your reactions, and remember, God will never place the miracle in your hand until your heart can protect it. Part 7. If you move before the appointed hour, you destroy the gift. The greatest danger to the man with a dream is not the enemy, it is his own impatience. It is the desire to rush what must be ripened, to force what must be formed, to touch what must still be tempered. And in doing so, he violates the law of timing and breaks the very gift he was meant to receive. You must understand, not all delay is denial. Much of it is protection. If you move before the appointed hour, if you act on your feelings rather than divine instruction, you will not only miss the miracle, you may destroy the vessel it was meant to fill. The law of growth cannot be violated. There is an appointed time for every reward. And if you dare to seize what is not yet fully prepared, if you grasp it while your character is still weak, your motives still unrefined, your habits still undisciplined, it will collapse under your touch. You don't have unrealistic goals. You have unrealistic timelines. Your vision is sound. Your desire is noble, but your schedule is carnal. You are asking heaven to obey the clock of earth, but heaven has never rushed a seed to harvest. The appointed hour is written in law, not emotion. Look back at the men who rose too quickly. They were handed wealth, fame, and influence before their discipline, before their focus, before their wisdom. And what happened? They fell. Not because the gift was wrong, but because their readiness was false. They mistook ambition for timing, and ambition alone is not enough. You must resist the urge to open what is not yet ripe. The fruit may appear ready from the outside, but if you break it before its time, the inside will be bitter. Such is the man who rushes his blessing. He may carry it for a moment, but it will turn sour in his hands. Not because it was not for him, but because he touched it too soon. Say this aloud: I will not step until the hour is ripe. I trust the plan. I respect the pace. I wait in obedience, not in weakness, but in wisdom. You do not become late by waiting. You become late by forcing the opportunity, forcing the conversation, forcing the growth. You are not building by law. You are building by ego. And what ego constructs, ego must maintain. And ego always collapses under its own weight. Let us examine again Abraham Lincoln. For years he was delayed, defeated in 8 elections, mocked by his peers, called a failure, but he did not rush. He did not force his rise. He obeyed the process. And when the presidency came, he was not inflated, he was prepared, because he waited until the nation needed the man his delay had produced. If he had demanded the position earlier, he would have lacked the maturity, the gravity, the calmness to command a country in crisis. But the delay formed him. And so the gift, when it arrived, was not a surprise. It was a confirmation. So many destroy their destiny because they cannot bear to wait. They step out before the hour. They post before they are ready. They speak before their voice is clean. They lead before they have learned to follow. And the world watches them crumble, not because they were never meant to rise, but because they rose by their own hand. You must kill this rush within you. It is not ambition, it is fear. Fear that the blessing will pass you by. Fear that others will succeed faster. Fear that your name will be forgotten. But that fear is the very thing that will sabotage your future. Because no man ruled by fear can receive a kingdom of faith. Declare this now. I do not rush. I do not panic. I do not chase. I trust the law. I walk by order. I move in rhythm. I rise in time. Remember, the blessing is not late. It is exact. You are not waiting on it. It is waiting on you to finish the final lesson, to seal the final crack in your foundation, to master the final part of your thought, your tongue, your walk, your will. And when that hour comes, you will not have to announce yourself. You will not need to knock. The door will swing open of its own accord, not because you forced it, but because you were faithful. So guard yourself. The urge to move too soon will come dressed as urgency. It will say, act now or lose everything. But remember, no gift ordained by infinite intelligence can be stolen. If it is yours, it is stored. And it will be released not a moment early, not a second late, but exactly when your shoulders can carry it. Say it again, for your future demands it. I will not step until the hour is ripe. I trust the plan. I respect the pace. This is not passivity. This is power. This is the stillness of the man who knows he is not forgotten. He is being prepared for perfection. Part 8. God's delay is the setup for divine acceleration. There is a final law I must now reveal, a truth you must write into the marrow of your belief. God's delay is not decline, it is divine momentum. What feels slow is not stagnant. It is pressure building behind the dam, force gathering in stillness, a tide rising in secrecy. The longer it delays, the more sudden its release shall be. The man who has waited in faith does not crawl into his reward, he is launched into it. And those who mocked him for his stillness will marvel at the speed of his rise. Because divine acceleration is not random, it is the natural response to disciplined preparation. You have not been wasting time, you have been gathering force. And while the world measured your progress by motion, infinite intelligence measured your progress by alignment. And now, because you did not faint, did not force, did not flee, you are positioned for a reward so swift it will seem unfair to those who moved without law. The delay is the setup. And every second of silence, every hour of invisible obedience, every day of private discipline has not been ignored. It has been recorded. And when the appointed hour arrives, heaven will not release a drop. It will release a flood. Let me remind you of Edison once more. For years he endured silence, failures, rejection. But when the light came, it came suddenly. Not because he was lucky, but because the law had been satisfied. His preparation demanded release. And so it came, quickly, permanently, completely. This is how divine timing works. Slowly, slowly, then suddenly. This is not a contradiction. It is a rhythm. You are not building for a trickle, you are building for a torrent. And that requires longer, deeper preparation. But when it arrives, you will cover in a day what others could not reach in a year. Say this aloud, with absolute certainty. My reward is building, my momentum is gathering, I do not rush, because I know what's coming is great. This is not wishful speech, this is law, this is alignment. This is the voice of the man who knows he is being lifted, not by effort alone, but by obedience to timing. The one who rises with the wind of God behind him shall never need to force the door, it will fly open by itself. There is no time lost in divine alignment. All that delay does not subtract, it compounds. The strength you gained in the wait, the clarity you developed in silence, the endurance you built in solitude, all of it becomes your weapon, your voice, your platform. Acceleration follows the man who passed the test. Let the world be confused by your stillness. Let others run ahead. Let them speak, move, posture, perform. You remain, you train, you obey. And in the moment of heaven's choosing, you shall pass them, not in pride, but in proof. This is the promise: that which delays longest often strikes hardest. That which waits in silence often rises in sound. That which grows beneath the soil often bears the strongest fruit. You are being set up for a breakthrough that will erase the memory of delay. Declare this again and again. Every second I have waited was fuel for what's coming. My rise will not be by force, it will be by favor. This is not imagination, it is spiritual law. What you could not move by strength will be moved by obedience. What you could not reach by hustle will be handed to you by preparation. What once felt impossible will be suddenly in your grasp because you no longer chased. You became worthy. You are not being teased. You are being positioned. Every unseen act of discipline has been placed on a scale. And when the scale tips, the blessing comes so quickly, so powerfully, so completely that no man will ever again question your right to possess it. The question now is not whether it will come. It is whether you will remain unshaken until it does, whether you will stay consistent, whether you will keep speaking your affirmation, whether you will keep reciting your definite chief aim, whether you will keep holding posture when others drift. If you can endure this final stretch, if you can hold your spirit in obedience just a little longer, your eyes shall soon see what your soul has believed, and it will not come slowly, it will come suddenly. Because the blessing was never lost. It was building. Say this one final time with full conviction. If I have waited long, it is because I am being trusted with something permanent. I shall not rush. I shall not faint. I am ready for divine acceleration. Let the noise fall. Let the doubters scoff. You stay ready. You stay certain. And when the hour strikes, you will not walk into your reward. You will be carried into it, not by chance, not by man, but by the very law you obeyed when no one was watching. God's delay is not the end. It is the launch point. And now you are ready. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, many people believe that blessings mean an easy life, but today I want to share a deeper understanding. When God blesses you, you will see these 4 signs. Not always in your surroundings, but first within yourself. We often grow up thinking that a blessed life is a life without problems, without pain, and without delays. We think that if God is truly with us, everything should work out smoothly. But reality teaches us something very different. Some of the most blessed people have walked through the hardest paths. They have faced rejection, failure, loss, and uncertainty. Yet what sets them apart is not the absence of struggle, but the presence of God's hand guiding them through it. When God blesses you, He does not promise a life without storms. He promises strength to stand firm in the middle of them. The first sign that God is blessing you is strength during difficult times. Not physical strength alone, but inner strength. A strength that keeps you moving forward even when life becomes heavy. You may be facing situations that you never imagined for yourself. You may feel tired, confused, or even broken at times, yet somehow you continue. You wake up every morning and try again. That strength is not accidental. It is a sign that God is working in your life. When God blesses you, He gives you the ability to survive what was meant to stop you. This strength does not mean you never feel weak. In fact, there are moments when you feel like giving up. But even in those moments, something inside you whispers, keep going. You learn patience when answers are delayed. You learn faith when outcomes are uncertain. You learn humility when you realize you cannot do everything on your own. This strength shapes your character and prepares you for responsibilities you could never handle before. Sometimes, God allows pressure not to crush you, but to shape you into something stronger. The second sign that God is blessing you is a change in your desires. This is one of the most powerful yet quiet signs of blessing. When God begins to work in your life, your heart starts to change. Things that once excited you may no longer satisfy you. Things that once seemed important may begin to feel empty. You start to desire peace more than attention, growth more than comfort, and purpose more than popularity. This change does not happen overnight, but it is clear your priorities shift. When God blesses you, He does not just change your situation, He changes your heart. You begin to make better choices, not because you are forced to, but because you want to. You become more careful about who you listen to, where you go, and what you allow into your life. You start to understand that not everything that looks good is good for you. This wisdom is a blessing. It protects you from paths that would have led to regret and pulls you closer to the life God designed for you. This change in desire also affects how you see success. Success is no longer just about money, status, or applause. It becomes about living with meaning, staying true to your values, and becoming a better human being. You begin to ask deeper questions about your life and your purpose. And this inner transformation is a clear sign that God is guiding you towards something greater than temporary satisfaction. The third sign that God is blessing you is growth in your character. The world celebrates achievements, but God focuses on character. When God blesses you, He works on who you are becoming, not just on what you are achieving. You may notice that you are becoming more patient, more forgiving, and more understanding. Situations that once triggered anger may now bring calm. People who once hurt you no longer control your emotions the way they used to. This growth often happens silently. No one may applaud you for choosing honesty when lying would be easier. No one may notice when you remain kind in an unkind situation. But God sees it. Character is built in moments when no one is watching. When God blesses you, He teaches you discipline, responsibility, and integrity. He prepares you to handle future success without losing yourself. As your character grows, you also develop a sense of responsibility toward others. You realize that blessings are not meant to stop with you. They are meant to flow through you. You become more compassionate, more aware of others' struggles, and more willing to help. You understand that your life has influence whether you realize it or not. This awareness is a blessing because it turns you into a source of light and hope for others. The fourth sign that God is blessing you is peace, even when life is uncertain. This peace is not the absence of problems, it is calm in the middle of them. When God blesses you, He gives you a peace that does not depend on circumstances. You may still be waiting for answers. You may still be working toward your goals. You may still face challenges, but deep inside there is a sense of trust that everything will be okay. This peace allows you to rest without having everything figured out. It helps you move forward without fear controlling your decisions. It gives you confidence that delays are not denials and that silence does not mean abandonment. This peace is a sign that you are not walking alone. It reminds you that God's timing is perfect, even when it does not match your own. People around you may notice this peace. They may wonder how you remain calm while others panic, how you stay hopeful while others give up. And through your peace, God's presence becomes visible. This peace becomes your testimony. It speaks louder than words and stronger than explanations. When we look at these four signs together, we begin to understand what true blessing really means. Strength in hard times, transformed desires, growing character, and unshakable peace are not small things. They are powerful signs of God's work in a person's life. A blessed life is not always an easy life, but it is a meaningful one. It is a life where every season, whether joyful or difficult, has purpose. Sometimes we expect God's blessings to arrive immediately and clearly, but often they come quietly, shaping us day by day. Many times we only realize how blessed we are when we look back and see how far we have come. We see the doors that were closed for our protection and the lessons that prepared us for the future. God's blessings are not always about giving more. Sometimes they are about making us better. So today, if you are going through a difficult season, do not assume that God has forgotten you. Look deeper. You may already be seeing the signs of His blessing in your strength, in your changing heart, in your growing character, and in your peace. When God blesses you, these 4 signs will appear, guiding you, shaping you, and leading you toward a life filled with purpose, faith, and hope. Many people grow up believing that blessings mean a life without problems, pain, or pressure. We often assume that if God is truly pleased with us, everything around us should fall perfectly into place. When difficulties arise, we begin to question ourselves and even question God. We wonder why challenges exist if we are trying to live rightly and do what is good. However, this understanding of blessings is incomplete. Blessings do not mean a problem-free life. God's blessings are not proven by comfort or ease, but by purpose, growth, and endurance during challenges. Life itself is full of ups and downs, and no one is exempt from hardship. Being blessed does not remove a person from this reality. Instead, blessings change how a person walks through difficulties. A problem-free life may sound attractive, but it often leads to weakness, dependency on comfort, and fear of change. Growth rarely happens in comfort zones. It is during times of struggle that people discover their true strength, values, and faith. When God allows challenges, it is not to harm us, but to develop us. What feels like pressure is often preparation. God's blessings are closely connected to purpose. Many times, the purpose God has for a person is far greater than what they currently understand. That purpose requires strength, wisdom, patience, and maturity. These qualities are not developed in easy seasons. They are formed when a person is tested, when plans fail, when doors close, and when waiting becomes painful. In those moments, a blessed person does not simply survive. They learn, they begin to understand themselves better. They learn to rely on God rather than on their own abilities. Purpose becomes clearer when comfort is removed, because distraction is reduced and focus is sharpened. Endurance is another powerful sign of blessing. Anyone can be happy when life is smooth, but it takes inner strength to keep going when life becomes heavy. Endurance does not mean pretending everything is fine. It means choosing not to give up even when the heart feels tired. It means continuing to hope when answers are delayed and continuing to do what is right when results are not visible. This endurance is not something people create on their own. It is a gift that grows when God is present in a person's life. The ability to stand after being knocked down again and again is evidence of divine support. Challenges also reveal growth. Without difficulties, growth would remain shallow. A person who has never struggled may have confidence, but not depth. They may have knowledge, but not wisdom. When challenges come, they stretch a person emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. They expose weaknesses, but they also strengthen abilities. Over time, the person who endures challenges with faith becomes wiser, calmer, and more balanced. They learn patience instead of anger, humility instead of pride, and trust instead of fear. This kind of growth is far more valuable than temporary comfort. Many people measure blessings by external signs such as success, money, or recognition. While these things can be gifts, they are not the true proof of blessing. Comfort can be misleading. A life without challenges may look peaceful, but it may lack direction. On the other hand, a life filled with struggles but guided by purpose has meaning. God's blessings often protect us from becoming too attached to comfort because comfort can make people forget their dependence on Him. Struggles remind us that we are not in control of everything, and that reminder keeps our hearts grounded. It is also important to understand that problems are not punishments. Many people assume that hardship means they have done something wrong. This belief creates guilt and fear. In reality, challenges are often signs that God is shaping a person for something greater. Just as gold is refined through fire, character is refined through difficulty. The process may be uncomfortable, but the result is valuable. What feels like delay may actually be development. What feels like loss may be protection. A blessed person may cry, may feel tired, and may question at times, but they do not lose direction. Even in pain, there is learning. Even in waiting, there is preparation. Over time, when they look back, they realize that the hardest seasons taught them the most important lessons. They recognize that the strength they now have was built during moments they once wanted to escape. This realization changes their perspective. They stop asking why challenges exist and start asking what they are meant to learn from them. A problem-free life is not the goal. A purposeful life is God's blessings are not about removing every obstacle, but about giving the strength to overcome them. They are not about avoiding pain, but about growing through it. Comfort may bring temporary happiness, but purpose brings lasting fulfillment. Growth may be slow and sometimes painful, but it builds a foundation that cannot easily be shaken. Endurance may be tested again and again, but it proves that a person is not walking alone. This is why blessings do not mean an easy life. They mean a meaningful one. Strength in difficult seasons is one of the clearest signs of blessing, even though it is often misunderstood. Many people think strength means never feeling weak, never crying, or never struggling emotionally. In reality, true strength appears when life becomes heavy and a person still chooses to stand. When you are able to move forward even slowly and refuse to give up despite hardship, it shows that God is sustaining you in ways that may not be visible on the surface. Difficult seasons test every part of a person's life. They test patience, faith, emotions, and hope. These are the moments when plans fall apart, expectations are not met, and answers do not come easily. Anyone can feel confident when life is smooth, but strength is revealed when nothing seems to be working, and yet the heart refuses to quit. If you are still standing in a season that should have broken you, that strength is not accidental. It is a sign that God is carrying you when your own strength is not enough. This kind of strength does not mean you are fearless or unaffected by pain. It means you feel the pain, but you do not allow it to define or destroy you. You may feel tired, discouraged, or overwhelmed, yet something inside you keeps pushing you forward. That inner push is often quiet. It does not shout. It whispers, "Try again tomorrow." It reminds you to take one step at a time. This quiet persistence is a powerful form of strength, and it reflects God's sustaining presence in your life. Standing firm during hardship requires faith, even when faith feels small. Sometimes strength is simply choosing to get up in the morning when you would rather stay down. Sometimes it is choosing hope when disappointment feels safer. These choices may seem small, but they build resilience over time. God often strengthens people gradually, not instantly. He gives just enough strength for today, not the entire journey at once. This teaches dependence and trust. It reminds a person that they are not meant to walk alone. Moving forward in difficult seasons also shows maturity. It means you are learning not to let circumstances control your direction. Hardship has a way of tempting people to stop, to settle, or to give up on their dreams and values. Strength resists that temptation. It says that this season will not define the rest of life. It believes that growth is still possible, even here. This mindset is a blessing because it protects a person from becoming bitter or hopeless. There is also strength in choosing the right attitude during hardship. Two people can face the same struggle yet respond very differently. One may grow angry and resentful while the other grows wiser and more patient. The difference is not the situation, but the strength within. When God sustains you, He helps you respond with grace instead of bitterness, with patience instead of anger. This does not mean emotions disappear, but it means emotions no longer control your actions. Not giving up is perhaps the strongest evidence of blessing. Giving up often feels easier than continuing, especially when progress is slow. But endurance builds character. Every time you choose not to quit, you grow stronger, even if you do not feel it immediately. Over time, you begin to realize that the strength you gained in hard seasons becomes a foundation for future challenges. What once felt impossible becomes manageable. This is how God prepares people for greater responsibilities and opportunities. Strength in hardship also increases compassion. People who have struggled and endured often become more understanding toward others. They listen more, judge less, and help more sincerely. This compassion is a blessing not only to them, but to everyone around them. God uses difficult seasons to soften hearts and deepen empathy. In this way, personal strength becomes a source of strength for others as well. Looking back, many people realize that their hardest seasons were also their most meaningful. They may not have chosen those moments, but they learned the most from them. They discovered abilities they did not know they had. They learned how to pray differently, how to trust more deeply, and how to remain calm in uncertainty. None of this would have happened in an easy life. Strength in difficult seasons is not about proving how strong you are. It is about revealing how faithful God is. When you are still standing, still moving forward, and still hoping despite hardship, it is clear evidence that you are being sustained by something greater than yourself. This is why strength during difficulty is a true sign of blessing. It shows that even when life is hard, you are not alone, and you are not unsupported. A transformation in desires is one of the most meaningful signs of God's work within a person. Unlike external changes that people can easily see, this transformation happens quietly, deep in the heart and mind. It is not forced, and it is not sudden. Over time, a person begins to notice that the things they once chased no longer satisfy them in the same way. What once felt exciting may begin to feel empty, and what once seemed unimportant may start to feel essential. This shift is a clear sign of blessing because it shows that God is shaping the inner life, not just the outer circumstances. In the beginning, many desires are driven by temporary pleasure. People seek approval, attention, comfort, or success because these things promise happiness. While there is nothing wrong with enjoying life, temporary pleasures cannot sustain the soul. They fade quickly and often leave a sense of emptiness behind. When God begins to work within a person, He gently redirects these desires. The heart starts to seek peace instead of constant excitement, purpose instead of popularity, and righteousness instead of convenience. This redirection is not a loss, it is a gain. One of the first changes a person may notice is a growing desire for inner peace. Situations that once fueled drama or chaos may now feel draining. The person begins to value calm, balance, and clarity. They may start avoiding environments or habits that disturb their peace, even if those things once felt enjoyable. This is not weakness, it is wisdom. Peace becomes more valuable than noise, and stability becomes more important than excitement. This shift reflects God's presence because true peace cannot be manufactured by circumstances alone. Along with peace comes a deeper sense of purpose. A transformed desire moves beyond living only for oneself. A person begins to ask meaningful questions about their life, their choices, and their impact on others. Success is no longer defined only by personal gain, but by contribution and integrity. There is a growing awareness that life has meaning beyond pleasure and comfort. This sense of purpose motivates better decisions, stronger discipline, and a clearer direction. It also brings fulfillment because living with purpose gives meaning even to ordinary moments. Righteousness also becomes a priority as desires change. Righteousness does not mean perfection. It means a sincere desire to do what is right. A person begins to feel uncomfortable with dishonesty, harmful behavior, or choices that compromise their values. Even when no one is watching, there is an inner guide that encourages integrity. This internal compass is a sign of God's work. When righteousness becomes desirable rather than burdensome, it shows that the heart is being transformed. This transformation affects decision-making in powerful ways. The person becomes more thoughtful and less impulsive. Instead of asking what feels good in the moment, they begin to ask what is beneficial in the long term. They learn to walk away from situations that may look attractive but lead to regret. This ability to choose wisely is a blessing because it protects the person from unnecessary pain and keeps them aligned with their values. A change in desires also brings freedom. When a person is no longer controlled by temporary pleasures or external approval, they experience a new level of peace. They are less anxious about what others think and less pressured to meet unrealistic expectations. Their confidence comes from within, rooted in faith and purpose rather than comparison. This freedom allows them to live authentically and with gratitude. Over time, this inner transformation becomes visible in actions, relationships, and lifestyle. People around may notice increased patience, kindness, and self-control. These qualities are not learned overnight. They are developed as desires change. God's work within a person always produces fruit outwardly. The life begins to reflect the values that the heart now holds. A transformation in desires is not always dramatic, but it is deeply powerful. It shows that God is actively shaping the heart, guiding priorities, and leading the person toward a life of peace, purpose, and righteousness. This kind of blessing lasts far longer than temporary pleasure. It builds a life that is meaningful, grounded, and aligned with what truly matters. Character success without character is unstable and short-lived. Many people spend their lives chasing achievements, recognition, and status, believing that these things define a successful life, while outward success can open doors. It cannot sustain a person who lacks inner strength. When God blesses someone, He focuses first on shaping who they are, not just what they accomplish. Patience, integrity, humility, and compassion are qualities that prepare a person to carry success without being destroyed by it. Outward success is visible and often celebrated, but character is developed quietly. No applause follows a patient response to frustration. No reward is given immediately for choosing honesty when dishonesty would be easier. Yet these unseen choices are where real growth happens. God understands that a person's character will determine how they handle pressure, influence, and responsibility. Without strong character, success can lead to pride, misuse of power, or loss of purpose. This is why God often works on the inside long before changing the outside. Patience is one of the first qualities God develops. In a fast-paced world that demands instant results, patience feels difficult and sometimes unnecessary. However, patience teaches self-control and trust. It allows a person to wait without becoming bitter or reckless. Through delays and unanswered questions, God trains the heart to remain steady. This patience becomes essential when greater responsibility arrives, because leadership and success often require waiting, endurance, and long-term vision. Integrity is another key part of character growth. Integrity means doing the right thing even when no one is watching and when there is no immediate benefit. It builds trust, which is far more valuable than talent or intelligence. God blesses by strengthening integrity because He knows that opportunities and influence will test honesty. A person with integrity remains consistent in values regardless of circumstances. This consistency creates respect and reliability, qualities that are necessary for lasting success. Humility is also central to character. Humility does not mean thinking less of yourself. It means understanding your true place and recognizing your dependence on God. When a person grows in humility, they become teachable. They listen more and assume less. They accept correction without becoming defensive. God blesses humility because it keeps success from turning into arrogance. A humble person can grow, learn, and lead without losing their humanity. Compassion completes the foundation of strong character. As God shapes a person, He softens their heart toward others. Compassion allows a person to see beyond their own struggles and understand the pain of those around them. It transforms success from self-focused achievement into an opportunity to serve. God blesses compassion because it ensures that influence is used to uplift, not to dominate. A compassionate heart brings healing, encouragement, and unity wherever it goes. Character growth often happens through challenges. Difficult situations reveal weaknesses, but they also provide opportunities to grow. When a person chooses patience in frustration, integrity in temptation, humility in achievement, and compassion in conflict, their character deepens. These moments may not feel like blessings at the time, but they are shaping something far more valuable than temporary success. Over time, character becomes a foundation that supports every area of life. Success built on character is stable and meaningful. It does not collapse under pressure or change with circumstances. God prepares people for greater responsibility by ensuring they are strong within before they are elevated outwardly. This preparation may take time, but it is necessary. Outward success may impress people, but character earns trust and respect. God's blessings are not just about giving more. They are about making a person better by shaping patience, integrity, humility, and compassion. God prepares individuals to carry greater responsibility with wisdom, balance, and purpose. This is why character growth always matters more than outward success. Peace that is not controlled by circumstances is one of the deepest signs of true blessing. This kind of peace does not come from having everything in order or from knowing exactly how the future will unfold. Instead, it comes from trust in God, a trust that remains steady even when answers are delayed and situations remain uncertain. Many people search for peace by trying to control their environment, their plans, or the people around them. Yet real peace cannot be found that way. It is found within, rooted in faith rather than circumstances. Life is naturally unpredictable. Plans change, doors close, and unexpected challenges appear without warning. If peace depends only on favorable conditions, it will always be fragile. One difficult moment can destroy it. True peace, however, is resilient. It stays present even in confusion. When God blesses a person, He gives them this inner calm, not by removing uncertainty, but by strengthening trust. This trust allows a person to remain grounded when everything around them feels unstable. Delayed answers often test this peace. Waiting can be uncomfortable and frustrating, especially when the outcome feels important. During these seasons, the mind becomes restless, filled with questions and worries. Yet a blessed person learns to wait without losing hope. They understand that silence does not mean abandonment and delay does not mean denial. This understanding brings calm to the heart. It allows a person to rest, even while they wait, knowing that God's timing is purposeful. Uncertain situations also reveal the depth of inner peace. When outcomes are unclear, fear often tries to take control. Fear creates anxiety and pushes people toward rushed decisions. Peace, on the other hand, allows clarity. It helps a person respond thoughtfully rather than react emotionally. This calm does not mean the absence of concern. It means concern is no longer in control. Trust replaces panic, and faith steadies the mind. This peace also changes how a person views challenges. Instead of seeing difficulties as threats, they begin to see them as part of a larger journey. They learn that not every problem needs an immediate solution, and not every question needs an immediate answer. This perspective reduces stress and brings balance. A person who has peace can move forward step by step without being overwhelmed by the entire journey at once. Peace that comes from God also protects the heart from comparison and pressure. In uncertain times, it is easy to look at others and feel behind or inadequate. Inner peace reminds a person that their path is unique and that growth takes time. It frees them from the need to rush or prove themselves. This freedom is a blessing because it allows authenticity and patience to grow. People around often notice this kind of peace. They may wonder how someone can remain calm in situations that would normally cause anxiety. This calm becomes a quiet testimony. It shows that strength does not always look loud or confident on the surface. Sometimes strength looks like stillness, trust, and steady hope. This peace influences relationships, creating safer and more thoughtful interactions. Over time, peace becomes a foundation for decision-making. A person who has inner peace is less likely to make choices based on fear or pressure. They are able to wait for clarity and move when the time is right. This leads to wiser decisions and fewer regrets. Peace does not remove challenges, but it ensures that challenges do not remove direction. True blessing is not proven by perfect conditions, but by a calm heart in imperfect ones. Peace that is not controlled by circumstances is a gift that sustains a person through uncertainty, waiting, and change. It reflects deep trust in God and confidence that even when the path is unclear, the journey is guided. This peace is not temporary. It grows stronger with time, anchoring the heart in hope no matter what lies ahead. Blessings are never meant to be kept to ourselves. They are meant to flow outward and impact the lives of others. When God blesses a person, the effect is never purely personal. While blessings often bring comfort, growth, or success to the individual, their true purpose is revealed when they are used to uplift, guide, and serve others. A blessing that stops at oneself is incomplete, but a blessing shared becomes multiplied, creating a ripple effect of hope, encouragement, and transformation. One of the ways God shows this is by giving each person unique abilities, opportunities, and experiences that can help those around them. These gifts are not random. They are given with intention. If someone has learned resilience through hardship, they are in a position to comfort others facing similar struggles. If someone has grown in wisdom, patience, or understanding, they can guide others who are lost or confused. When blessings are used in this way, they extend beyond personal benefit and become instruments of God's work in the lives of many. Serving others through blessings requires awareness and empathy. It is not simply about giving material things, but about sharing time, energy, knowledge, and encouragement. Every kind word, every helpful action, and every thoughtful gesture can have a profound impact. People often underestimate how much a single act of care or support can change someone's day, outlook, or even life. God blesses people not just to elevate them, but to make them a source of blessing for those who need it most. Using blessings to impact others also builds character. When we shift focus from ourselves to others, qualities like humility, compassion, patience, and generosity are strengthened. These qualities cannot flourish in isolation. By looking beyond personal gain, a person begins to reflect God's love more clearly. The act of giving, guiding, and serving teaches selflessness and reminds a person that life is bigger than individual comfort or success. Blessings meant for others can take many forms. Sometimes it is through mentorship or sharing knowledge. Other times it may be through material support, volunteering, or providing emotional encouragement. Even small acts can carry great significance. God often uses ordinary people in extraordinary ways when they are willing to let their blessings serve a higher purpose. This demonstrates that true blessing is not measured by what you keep, but by what you share. Impacting others with blessings creates a cycle of goodness. The person who receives help or encouragement is often inspired to do the same for someone else. In this way, a single blessing can touch many lives far beyond what was initially imagined. God's design ensures that blessings are never meant to be stagnant. They are meant to grow and expand, creating positive change in the world. Finally, when blessings are shared, they reflect God's love and faithfulness in a tangible way. People can see the effects of God's work, not only in personal transformation, but in the way that transformation inspires action for good. A blessed life becomes a beacon of hope, showing others that divine guidance and support are real, practical, and life-changing. This amplifies the blessing, extending it beyond the individual to communities, families, and even generations. Blessings are meant to impact others, not just yourself. When God blesses you, He positions you to uplift, guide, and serve those around you. True blessings multiply when they are shared, creating ripples of hope, compassion, and love. By using what God has entrusted to us for the benefit of others, we fulfill the deeper purpose of blessings, turning personal gifts into instruments of transformation and light in the world. Tonight, you are not simply falling asleep, you are stepping into a sacred chamber where your mind will be shaped, your beliefs will be rewritten, and your future will begin its silent construction. What you allow into your mind before slumber determines what awakens in your life. This speech is not casual noise. It is a builder of destinies. Do not take this moment lightly. As you close your eyes, I will speak directly to the hidden architect within you, your subconscious mind. And what I speak, if you permit it, will take root. As you sleep, this speech will go to work. It will plant wealth. It will plant belief. It will plant definiteness of purpose and the bold courage to act. What do you desire? A house free from debt, a fortune that multiplies in silence, the freedom to awaken when you choose, not when an alarm demands? Do you dream of owning your own enterprise, commanding your own time, and being the source of security for those you love? then listen, not as one who wishes, but as one who decides. This very night your mind shall be fed riches. You may not see it yet, but if you persist in hearing this message, if you give yourself wholly to its repetition, your beliefs will shift. And when your beliefs shift, so does your identity. And when your identity changes, the world bows to you as a master, not a beggar. The law is simple. What you think of most with faith becomes your reality. What you hear most with emotion becomes your nature. Tonight I offer you not mere advice, but a system of reconditioning. Repetition is the tool. Faith is the fire. And the subconscious mind is the field where your fortune is sown. This is not entertainment. This is education for your deeper self. The words I speak tonight are seeds. They may feel invisible, but let a week pass, a month pass, and you will awaken to a new thought, a new strength, a new opportunity. You will not know where it came from, but I will tell you, it was planted tonight. You must listen regularly. This message is to be repeated night after night until you no longer recognize the old version of yourself. Do not question the soil. Do not pluck the seed to see if it grows. Let it work. Trust the law. Speak the affirmations with feeling. And above all, believe that you are worthy of the wealth you seek. This is your sacred hour. Speak nothing negative before you sleep. Hear nothing vague. Do not entertain fear, criticism, or complaint. Only truth shall enter your mind now. Only purpose, only power, only wealth. You are not falling asleep. You are installing a new self, and that self shall rise wealthy. What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve, and what it repeats, it installs. This is not poetry, it is law. The same way a farmer repeats the tilling of soil before the crop appears, you must till the fields of your mind with repetition, with belief, and with purpose, especially as you sleep. The subconscious mind never closes its doors. While your eyes shut and your body rests, your deeper self remains alert, obedient, absorbing. It is listening to the last thoughts you feed it. It is shaping them, multiplying them, giving them direction, and it does not discriminate. It will act on whatever is planted, truth or lie, riches or ruin. So I warn you, as your guide, if you retire each night in worry, fear, confusion, or complaint, you are feeding poison into the workshop of your destiny. You are commanding the very force that builds your future to construct failure. And it will obey, without judgment, without question. It will serve the master you choose to be. But if instead you begin tonight to fall asleep with courage in your chest, faith in your belly, and purpose in your voice, you will command the subconscious to build in your favor. For it is not fate that determines your wealth. It is your repeated thought, charged with belief, handed to your deeper mind with feeling. This is the sacred science of auto-suggestion. You suggest what to think. You suggest what to feel. And the subconscious receives it, works upon it, acts upon it, and delivers it back to you as circumstance, condition, and opportunity. It will carry out whatever order you feed it, especially that which is fed repeatedly and with emotion. There is no magic here, only natural law. The same law that builds muscle through repeated motion, builds fortune through repeated thought. That which is impressed upon the mind with belief and persistence becomes fact. Just as surely as the sun rises in the east, your repeated thought becomes your outer reality. Therefore, I tell you, listen to this nightly. Not as a man seeking inspiration, but as one training an army. Your inner army of belief, vision, and courage. Every word you hear is a brick in the foundation of your fortune. Every phrase is a nail driving a new command into the subconscious engine of your life. You are not wasting time by hearing this again and again. You are building the scaffolding of your future. You are laying mental highways upon which wealth will travel to reach you. As surely as a bridge must be constructed before a carriage crosses it, your mind must be structured before riches can arrive. This process is not passive. Though you are resting, your inner self must be alert. Surrender to these words, not in laziness, but in cooperation. Just as a skilled builder follows the blueprint with precision, your mind must follow the voice of definiteness, prosperity, and faith as it is spoken to you now. Thomas Edison did not stumble upon genius by accident. He prepared his mind each evening with the problems he sought to solve. He expected answers, and those answers arrived, not in waking hours, but in dreams, in flashes, in moments of calm when the subconscious was working undisturbed. He did not doubt, he expected. So tonight, do as Edison did. Hand your problem, your desire, your question to your deeper self. Then fall asleep with belief. Let your subconscious work as you rest. Expect ideas. Expect guidance. Expect strength to follow through. Expect favor from infinite intelligence itself. You are training the worker beneath your conscious mind. He is tireless. He is faithful, but he is without judgment. Feed him poison, and he will construct misery. Feed him purpose, and he will construct wealth. You are the architect, you are the instructor, and you are responsible. Hear these words again. Let them seep into your soul. I am the master of my destiny. My thoughts shape my future. I command wealth to come to me through faith, through decision, and through persistent repetition. Say it aloud. Whisper it if you must. Let it echo in the chamber of your mind. This is not one night's work. It is not a magic lamp. It is the daily command of a commander who refuses to drift. You must persist. You must condition the mind daily. And you must believe that what you impress tonight will express tomorrow or the next day or the day after that. Fall asleep now, not as a victim of chance, but as the builder of your fortune. Do not carry complaint to bed. Do not rehearse failure. Do not recount the opinions of doubters. Instead, place your faith on the pillow beside you, wrap yourself in definiteness, and surrender your will to right thought. You have already planted a seed, and with this message you water it. With faith you warm it. With repetition you grow it. And soon, if you do not break the cycle, you will reap a harvest greater than your old self dared to imagine. That is not a promise. That is law. Now, as you drift, do not drift as a coward. Drift as a commander. Drift as one who is deciding what your life shall be. Drift with the firm knowledge that as you sleep, something greater than you is working on your behalf, guided by your faith, your repetition, and your decision to never return to the old way again. There is no mystery here. Repetition is the great law of mental fertility. What you repeat, you believe. What you believe, you become. And what you become is what the world reflects back to you. The man who repeats fear becomes afraid. The man who repeats courage becomes unstoppable. And the man who repeats wealth becomes rich. This is not theory. It is observable. It is practical. It is the silent sculptor behind every fortune and every failure. A man does not rise by one thought, one decision, or one prayer. He rises by the daily conditioning of his mind in the direction of power. The mind, like a muscle, must be trained through repetition. The universe is governed by law, not luck, and one of those laws is called cosmic habit force. It is invisible, but it is binding. It works on all men equally. It makes permanent that which is repeated. It installs into your mental machinery the ideas you dwell upon most, whether good or evil, faith or fear, riches or lack. You cannot escape this law. You can only obey it or violate it. When you obey it consciously, it serves you. When you ignore it, it serves your fears. It gives permanency to your dominant thought. Therefore, if your dominant thought is doubt, it will fix it in your mind until you see doubt in every opportunity. If your dominant thought is faith, it will fix it in your spirit until you meet life with calm power. If your dominant thought is wealth, then wealth shall take root in your identity and begin to pull its physical equivalent into your world. What you rehearse, you repeat. What you repeat, you install. What you install, you become. You must understand this. Your outer world is the matured harvest of your inner thought garden. Every condition in your present life was once a seed of belief, planted by thought, watered by repetition, and hardened by emotion. Most men do not plant deliberately. They allow weeds to grow. And then they ask, "Why am I poor?" They forget the answer lies in the thoughts they repeated for years. Money is hard. I'm not lucky. People like me don't get rich. These are not harmless phrases. These are the repeated commands that their subconscious received and obeyed. And no amount of wishing will undo what habit has installed. No wealth may come permanently except that which is first built through a pattern of inner belief and repeated command. You must build the inner castle before the world allows you to possess the outer one. This is why I command you to listen nightly. You are reconstructing the architecture of your identity. You are laying bricks made of thought. Do not be like most men who install fear, install indecision, install vague desires, and then ask why poverty haunts them. They do not realize they are the ones who authorized its construction. They allowed failure to take root through repetition. They became what they rehearsed. But you tonight will build differently. You will install faith. You will install wealth. You will install courage. And you will do so silently, powerfully, through repeated hearing. Your mind shall be your temple, and no false god of doubt shall enter. Your thoughts will serve you, or you will replace them. Consider Andrew Carnegie, the great steel magnate. He did not think as other men thought. He trained his mind daily to dwell on fortune, on service, on industry, and on the power of men united by purpose. His belief became stronger than all opposition. His habits of thought were not accidental. They were designed. He would not tolerate any idea that contradicted his vision. He expelled negative conversation. He refused weak associations. He did not accept lack as a final verdict. He believed wealth was a duty, a calling to serve, to lead, to build. And that belief, repeated daily, became his identity. His identity attracted the fortune. You must now do the same. Every night as you listen, you must feel these truths sink deeper into your inner self. You must fall asleep with the quiet certainty that your thoughts are constructing a mansion of power. You may not see the walls rise yet, but they are being laid, stone by stone, by the mason of repetition. And I give you the tools to build. Say them internally, whisper them, shout them within. But do not let these words pass by without being claimed. I am the master of my thoughts. I create wealth through belief and action. Infinite intelligence guides my steps and supplies my needs. I am building a wealthy identity every day, every night, without fail. Repeat them. Feel them. Let them echo in your sleep. Let them be louder than your doubts. Let them overwhelm every weak belief you once carried. For it is only by repetition that the old man is buried and the new man rises. There is no replacement for discipline, no substitute for persistent planting. You must water the mind with these words until they become natural, until you no longer reach for them, they come to you. Until you no longer try to believe them, you are them. Fall asleep with discipline and awaken to miracles. The man who governs his nighttime thought becomes the ruler of his waking world. You are not passive. You are planting. You are feeding your field with wealth-conscious seed. You are tilling the soil of your destiny with your own hands. Now rest, not as a beggar, but as a builder. A drifting mind is a doomed mind. A man without a purpose is a ship without a rudder, tossed about by wind, ruled by current, prey to every storm. But the man who knows what he wants and claims it boldly, he is magnetic. His thoughts are concentrated. His steps are directed. His presence is commanding, and success moves toward him without hesitation. Definiteness of purpose is not a luxury. It is the very foundation of all achievement. The mind craves direction. Without it, it wanders into fear, confusion, indecision, and waste. But once you give the mind a single, dominant, clearly envisioned aim, it begins to awaken powers that slept for years. It begins to burn away the fog of drifting. Drifting is the devil's playground. Definite thought is God's workshop. When your mind has no chief aim, it becomes the target of fear, of criticism, of suggestion by the mediocre. But the definite man becomes immune to suggestion. He thinks, he acts, he commands, he decides, he expects, he achieves, and the world follows him. Now I ask you, what do you want? Say it, write it, declare it. Let no vague wish remain in your mind. Is it freedom from employment? Is it the creation of a business? Is it the ownership of land, of property, of riches to be passed down for generations? Is it the power to bless your family, to give, to create, to build? Then name it, claim it, state it aloud, feel it, demand it, repeat it until it is fixed in your identity. The man who is definite may be resisted temporarily, but he is never defeated. Life bends to the man who bends his mind toward a single desire, held with faith and reinforced by persistent thought. You must now install that image. And not as a vague hope, but as a living command. Every night as you drift to sleep, you must see your aim, picture it, hear the sounds it brings, smell the scent of success, touch the walls of your vision, taste the reward in advance. This is not delusion. It is construction. Do as my friend Barnes once did. He wished not merely to work for Thomas Edison, he wished to become his partner. He did not ask for a job, he demanded an opportunity. He carried that image in his mind so strongly, so repeatedly, that it became more real than the poverty in his pocket. And eventually, Edison saw it too. Barnes had nothing but desire and definiteness. That was enough. He did not drift. He did not listen to doubt. He declared what he would be, and he backed it with faith, persistence, and the repeated image of success. What he believed, he achieved. Because he would not accept any alternative, he was deaf to all suggestion but his own. So now I give you a nightly ritual. Take your definite chief aim and write it with your own hand. Do not print it, write it. This binds the thought with motion and emotion. Then speak it aloud. Speak it slowly. Speak it with faith. And as you fall asleep, let the sound of it echo in your inner chamber. Hear it whispered within. I am moving daily toward my definite purpose with unshakable faith. The means will appear because I have committed to the end. Say it until it feels natural. Say it until your subconscious accepts it as a command from headquarters. Say it until doubt dies and belief becomes your new atmosphere. You must understand. Every repetition carves a groove in your inner mind. Every spoken affirmation is a chisel. And with each night, you shape a deeper channel for wealth to flow. If you skip one night, return the next. If you feel nothing at first, continue. The seed is invisible at first, but the harvest will come. This is no game. This is not motivational whim. This is mental craftsmanship. This is the science of personal power. The subconscious mind will obey the loudest voice. If the loudest voice is television, gossip, or fear, it will obey that. If the loudest voice is your chief aim, backed by repetition and faith, it will obey that. Make sure that voice is definiteness, not doubt. Wealth does not belong to the most gifted. It belongs to the most definite. Fortune does not follow talent. It follows clarity. And clarity comes from discipline, from faith, from daily inner work. And that work begins now, tonight, as you plant the image, speak the affirmation, and fall asleep in command. Do not permit even one thought of vagueness to remain. Know what you want. Know why you want it. Know how you will feel when it is yours. And feed that picture into your subconscious every night until your very cells begin to expect it, until the world itself begins to move toward you like metal toward a magnet. You are not merely hoping anymore. You are ordering. You are commanding. You are instructing the invisible powers that shape your future. You are declaring, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I shall receive, not from arrogance, but from faith in the law that governs all growth. Now take one breath, see your goal, hear your voice, feel your command, and let that image drift into sleep with you. Let it settle into the depths of your mind. Let it be carried down into your subconscious, where all real power begins. Tonight, you do not drift aimlessly. You drift with direction. You drift with authority. You drift with the mind of a commander, and what you repeat tonight with definiteness and belief will become the foundation of your fortune. The subconscious mind is the faithful servant of your dominant thought. It does not reason. It does not challenge. It does not debate. It obeys, and it obeys completely. It is the invisible hand that shapes your future, taking instruction from whatever you allow to dominate your inner conversation. And this includes what you think, say, feel, and repeat, especially as you sleep. The subconscious mind is your link to infinite intelligence. It is the gateway through which hunches arrive, through which solutions form, through which wealth flows when commanded rightly. You do not control infinite intelligence, but you do influence it. And the tool of that influence is your subconscious mind, trained by belief, repetition, and emotion. If you do not instruct your subconscious, others will. They will do so through newspapers, through gossip, through complaint, through fear, through television, through conversation filled with doubt. The world is loud with suggestion, and most of it is poison. The man who does not guard his mind is a man whose future is written by strangers. The subconscious mind will not remain idle. It is always at work. It is always building. And it will feed on whatever you plant or what others throw in. It is a builder without conscience. It builds both palaces and prisons depending on the blueprint. And the blueprint is the repeated thought backed by belief. The nighttime hour is golden. It is the hour of greatest influence. It is the hour when conscious resistance fades and the subconscious opens its doors. It is the hour when what is heard sinks deeper, settles further, and begins to root itself into your very identity. This is why you must be intentional with every word you hear before sleep. Repetition with feeling is the tool. Faith is the fuel, decision is the fire, and emotion is the glue. These are the ingredients of change. These are the materials with which you construct a new inner man. And from that inner man, a new outer world shall follow. You must become deliberate in your inner conditioning. This is the sacred art of auto-suggestion, the daily feeding of the subconscious with hand-picked thoughts, repeated with intensity and accepted with feeling. You may call it programming. You may call it impressing. The name is not the power. The power is in the repetition backed by belief. Henry Ford is proof of this law in motion. He was not considered intelligent by the world. He was mocked by the educated. His ideas were ridiculed, yet he moved forward. Why? Because his belief was more definite than their doubt. He repeated his inner picture of what must be until no argument could take it from him. Engineers told him it could not be done. He said it would be done, and they did it. Not because they believed, but because he did. His subconscious mind had already accepted the image. The outer world was forced to comply. Such is the power of repeated belief made definite through persistence. Now I give you your own commands. Say them with your mind. Repeat them silently. Let them enter your inner workshop. Let them settle beneath your thoughts. Whisper them if you wish, but do not let them pass without feeling. I plant the seed of wealth every night. It is growing, even while I sleep. Nothing enters my mind unless I permit it. I choose faith. I choose wealth. My subconscious obeys me because I train it daily with belief and repetition. You must not waver. You must not skip nights. This is not entertainment. This is identity construction. And identity is not built by inspiration. It is built by instruction, repeated instruction, faithful repetition, and the refusal to allow negative suggestion to enter your sacred chamber of mind. The subconscious will carry out whatever you accept. If you feed it images of poverty, it will create conditions of poverty.
If you feed it beliefs of power, it will create expressions of power. If you speak wealth, it will begin to summon the means, but only if the command is repeated with faith. No man becomes rich by accident. He becomes rich by subconscious direction. The conscious mind decides what to feed. The subconscious mind decides how to grow it. But both must cooperate. Both must work in harmony. The farmer cannot control the growth, but he can control the seed, the water, the rhythm of planting. So plant wisely, speak wisely, listen nightly, and never again permit complaint or fear to be your lullaby. Let faith be your nighttime companion. Let definiteness be your closing thought. Let repetition do its silent work as you rest with the awareness that something far greater is now working beneath your surface. Tonight, let this truth rest deep within you. The man who commands his subconscious commands his world. And the man who repeats the right idea with faith becomes the master of his conditions. Sleep not in confusion, but in clarity. Sleep not in fear, but in power. Sleep not in doubt, but in direction. You are not weak. You are not a victim. You are not at the mercy of outer events. You are powerful beyond measure because you are capable of choosing what to believe and repeating it until your very cells respond to the new law. And you begin tonight, not by effort, but by surrender to right repetition. Drift now into sleep, not as a man who waits, but as a man who commands. And may your subconscious carry out your orders with full obedience, building your new life as you rest. Wealth cannot grow where fear is planted. Riches do not abide in a heart ruled by dread. The mind that harbors fear is like a field overrun by weeds, choking out the harvest before it rises. The subconscious will not question your fears. It will accept them as orders, and it will build your world according to the blueprint you hand it. Be it faith or fright, tonight we begin the removal. For too long, fear has slept beside you. It has whispered in your ear as you drifted. It has told you lies in the voice of reason. It has called itself protection, safety, caution. But it is the enemy, and it must be expelled. There is no compromise. Wealth and fear cannot share the same bed. There are 6 ghosts, 6 invisible forces that haunt the minds of men and turn dreams to dust. They are the fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. These 6 form a prison without bars, because the bars exist within the mind. And each night you entertain them, you renew their power. But I tell you now, you have the authority to cast them out. The man who governs his thoughts may evict any ghost, and he begins by naming it, confronting it, and replacing it. He refuses to allow fear to disguise itself as logic. He sees it plainly, and once he sees it, he defeats it by decision. Fear cannot dwell in a mind that is full of definiteness, faith, and right action. These 3 are your weapons. They are spiritual in nature, but they are practical in power. They drive out confusion. They uproot fear at the root, and they leave in its place a firmness of purpose that no ghost dares challenge. Fear is the devil's whisper. Faith is the voice of infinite intelligence. When you hear fear telling you to hesitate, to wait, to doubt, it is the enemy speaking. And it must be silenced, not with passivity, but with command. You speak over it. You do not negotiate with it. You do not pet it. You do not discuss it. You drive it out. Now say this within: I release the fear of poverty. I was born rich in thought. I do not fear criticism. I walk my own path with calm conviction. My health, youth, and power are under divine control. I trust the law. I trust the timing. I trust my voice. Say these not once, but repeatedly. Let them strike like hammers into the walls of your mind until no old idea can stand. For it is not enough to remove fear. You must replace it. Nature does not allow a vacuum. The moment fear is gone, you must fill the space with vision, with desire, with purpose, with truth. Abraham Lincoln was not fearless by nature. He faced depression. He faced criticism. He faced immense pressure, but he pressed forward. not because he felt powerful, but because his purpose outweighed his emotion. His mind was trained, his inner voice was clear, and when others retreated, he advanced. He knew what he stood for, and so must you. Wealth is not for the faint of heart. It belongs to those who master themselves, and to master yourself, you must command the deeper self that listens to thought during sleep. You must speak faith louder than fear. You must let your subconscious hear no ghost but purpose. You are not too late, you are not too far gone. Fear may have ruled your nights until now, but it ends tonight. You are now a man of conscious repetition, of deliberate command, of definite belief, and the subconscious has no choice but to obey the new master, the one who speaks faith without apology. You may not feel brave yet, but say it anyway. Say it nightly. Say it until the fear has no place left to hide. Let these words become your armor. Let them enter your dreams. Let them replace the old worries. Let them build a new rhythm within, a rhythm of power. I have nothing to fear. I move with decision. I live with purpose. I have power over thought, and thought is the builder of all riches. My mind is fertile with belief. I sow only the seeds of wealth. You are not made to tremble. You are made to stand. You are not designed to wish. You are designed to command. The forces of fear are old tenants in the mind. But the moment you become definite, they begin to flee. They cannot hold ground against a man who repeats truth with unwavering belief. Do not let this be another night of old rehearsals. Do not repeat regret. Do not replay failure. Do not retell the lies fear once told you. Replace them. Bury them beneath faith. Starve them of attention. You are not required to feel ready. You are only required to speak truth until it becomes your second nature. Faith is not soft. Faith is iron. It is forged in repetition. It is hardened by resistance. And you, my friend, are forging it nightly. Each sentence you hear, each thought you allow, is another strike of the hammer. Soon the new you will rise, and the old fears will no longer recognize the man you have become. Tonight, the ghosts of fear are cast out. They have no bed here, they have no voice, they have no power. You will no longer drift with them. You will command without them. And you will sleep as one whose mind belongs to wealth, not worry. Rest now, not in weakness, but in strength. Let this message continue its silent work beneath your surface, and when you rise, do so as one whose fears are buried beneath the footsteps of belief. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. This is a law as certain as gravity, as inescapable as breath. A man may long for riches, but if his identity is built upon scarcity, fear, hesitation, and doubt, then no fortune shall remain with him. Riches flee from a man whose self-image is poor. The most powerful transformation is not from poverty to wealth, it is from weakness to identity. When you adopt the identity of a wealthy man, one who thinks clearly, acts decisively, and believes deeply, you begin to pull your fortune into alignment. You begin to carry the posture of power before power arrives. You must become the type of man who commands riches before they come. This is the mystery the world overlooks. They wait for results to believe, but the great men believe before they see. They speak before they hold. They act before they receive. This is not deception. This is the law of identity. Think now, how does the wealthy man speak? How does he carry himself? How does he respond to difficulty, to delay, to decision? Does he beg? Does he panic? Does he explain himself? Number, he thinks clearly. He moves with purpose. He speaks few words, but every word is heavy with belief. He does not chase, he attracts. I tell you now, you must see yourself as him. You must hear yourself speak as he would. You must breathe, walk, and think in the rhythm of certainty. This is not pretend. This is instruction. The subconscious cannot tell the difference between imagination and reality. What it sees repeatedly, it begins to accept. What it accepts, it produces. You may feel poor tonight, But if you repeat the identity of wealth long enough, your mind will begin to shift. Your body will begin to follow. Your circumstances will be compelled to change. The law of harmony demands it. For a man out of alignment with his thoughts cannot remain as he is. Begin now. Visualize yourself already successful. See the home, the office, the books, the clothing, the ledger, the letters, the accounts, the peace. Do not rush the image. Let it become familiar. See yourself walking in clarity. See yourself commanding respect. Let this image replace the old one, piece by piece, word by word, repetition by repetition. Use the mirror each morning to speak identity aloud. Look yourself in the eye and say, I am the man who thinks clearly, acts decisively, and creates wealth. I am calm under pressure, focused on purpose, immune to opinion. I expect riches because I am the type of man who creates them. Then, as night returns, use the inner mirror. Let the image of your future self rise before you. Let him speak. Let him instruct. Let him remind you who you are becoming. Hear him whisper, we do not doubt. We do not delay. We do not apologize. We build. We expect. We rise. You are not what you once were. You are not bound to your past. Identity is not cement, it is clay. And every word you speak tonight reshapes it. Every repetition in the dark builds the man who will walk in the light. You must not merely hear these truths, you must become them. Charles M. Schwab did not possess great fortune because of luck or schooling. He possessed a magnetic identity. He believed in himself with such warmth and clarity that others believed in him instinctively. His manner, his tone, his poise, all stemmed from the deep inner command, I belong in wealth. I am at home among greatness. He thought as the rich man would think. He walked as the rich man would walk. And riches followed, not because he demanded them, but because he matched them. You must now do the same. Think as he would think. Walk as he would walk. Speak only as one who owns his destiny. This identity will feel unfamiliar at first. That is natural. But with repetition, it becomes yours. The costume becomes character. The practice becomes instinct. The echo becomes your voice. And when it does, the world responds differently to you. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. Say these words silently now. Let them enter you. I no longer rehearse weakness. I install wealth. I walk in harmony with success. I live in alignment with riches. My identity is forged in repetition, backed by belief, rooted in decision. You are building an inner magnet. You are tuning your thoughts to wealth. You are shaping the man who must exist for your fortune to arrive. And you are doing it quietly, faithfully, as you drift to sleep. Tonight, you do not lie down as the man the world sees. You lie down as the man who will one day be revealed. You lie down in disguise, but not for long. Your identity is shifting. Your old self is dissolving. Your new self is rising, word by word, night by night, with every repetition. As you sleep, let your future self take your place. Let him breathe through you. Let him speak within you. Let him instruct your mind. And when you rise, rise as one who no longer begs for success, but commands it, because you have become the man who receives it by law. There is a power that multiplies strength when two or more minds meet in perfect understanding. I name this power the mastermind. It is not a theory. It is a spiritual and mental law, as exact as any found in chemistry or mathematics. When you align your mind in harmony with another of purpose, a third, greater mind is formed. This is not metaphor, it is literal. When two minds connect with faith, loyalty, and shared aim, they generate a force neither could summon alone. This invisible force has built empires, moved industries, and forged leaders. It exists above emotion, beyond logic, and it begins the moment you decide to align with greatness. You are never alone in your journey, but you must choose your mental companions carefully. The subconscious is influenced not only by your own repetition, but by the thoughts of those closest to you. The wrong association poisons the inner soil. The right association multiplies the harvest tenfold. I say to you, even while you sleep, your inner circle is forming. Your subconscious continues to draw influence from what you admire, from what you rehearse, from the voices you allow into your temple of thought. Let those voices be mighty. Let them be wise. Let them lift you, not lower you. This is why I taught the practice of invisible counselors. Before sleep, I called upon the minds of great men, Lincoln, Edison, Carnegie, Napoleon, and others. I imagined their faces. I summoned their voices. I asked them questions, and my subconscious responded with ideas I had never before possessed. You may call this imagination. You may call it alignment with infinite intelligence. I call it instruction, and it works. Begin tonight by summoning your own counsel. Call upon Edison for invention. Call upon Lincoln for character. Call upon Carnegie for clarity. Call upon your future self for instruction. Let them speak within you. Let them surround your subconscious mind. Let their words replace the doubters. Let their guidance become your nightly nourishment. They are not gone. Their minds are alive in principle. Their philosophies endure. And what they knew, you may now receive if you will listen. But you must also guard the law of harmony. Riches flee from minds in chaos, contradiction, complaint, or confusion. A man who thinks one thing, says another, and does a third, is at war with himself. His subconscious is disoriented. His magnet is broken, and wealth cannot find such a man. To attract riches, you must be unified. Your thoughts, your words, your actions, all must align in faith and purpose. Your subconscious must not hear one voice during the day and another by night. It must be fed one message, one command, one belief, repeated with calm and courageous resolve. Let your affirmations reflect this harmony. I think in harmony with wealth, greatness, and power. I attract minds that multiply my strength. I am surrounded by influence that builds, never breaks. You are constructing an environment within you that matches the environment you seek to build outside you. Just as a house must be framed with support beams, your fortune must be framed with the support of right minds, right thoughts, right influences. Even in sleep, your mind is building its alliances. Consider John D. Rockefeller. He did not amass power through noise or raw force. He created wealth through organized association. He selected wise men. He operated with clarity. He moved with certainty. And he obeyed the law of harmony. He trusted delegation. He guarded his emotional state. He never tolerated internal chaos. He knew that riches do not reward the clever alone. They reward the calm, the stable, the principled. His outer fortune reflected an inner order, and that order came not from chance, but from self-command and careful alliance. You must now imitate the principle, not the man. As you drift tonight, remember that the voices you allow into your subconscious are forming your future counsel. If you hear the voice of complaint, you have invited ruin. If you hear the voice of belief, of purpose, of greatness, you have joined the circle of success. Speak again your command. I am in mental harmony with my highest aim. My subconscious is allied with builders, not destroyers. I am protected by the law of mental union and spiritual agreement. Feel the presence of strength around you, not in body, but in thought. You are not alone. You are a mind among minds. You are a soul among principles. You are a man who attracts power because you obey power. Let the force of harmony guard your heart and fortify your inner world as you sleep. Let your inner circle speak now, not the one of flesh, but of spirit. Let them whisper your next steps. Let them hand you courage. Let them call out your higher self. And when you awaken, may you rise with answers that the night delivered. For a wealthy man does not build riches alone. He builds alliances in thought, in purpose, and in faith. There is a power which no man can touch with his hands, yet every man may access with his thoughts. It is invisible to the eye, yet visible in every tree, every invention, every rising fortune. I call it infinite intelligence. It is the source of every great idea, every breakthrough, every quiet miracle that leads a man from struggle to prosperity. But know this truth: infinite intelligence does not respond to need, it responds to faith. It is not moved by begging. It does not yield to complaint. It does not hear fear. It listens only to definiteness. It listens only to belief. It reveals its secrets only to the man whose mind is made up and whose heart is certain. Your wealth is already created in the unseen. The forms may be hidden, the path may be dim, but the supply exists. Your task is not to beg for it, but to become the man who is worthy to receive it. And you do this by believing before you see, deciding before you know how, and persisting before there is evidence. Infinite intelligence is not mystery, it is law. And like all true law, it demands obedience. Obedience in thought, obedience in repetition, obedience in expectation. If you speak one thing but believe another, you violate the law. If you expect little, you receive little. But if you expect much with faith, you align yourself with abundance. Let me offer you a metaphor. Just as water flows to the lowest point, wealth flows to the strongest belief. It moves without effort toward the man who has emptied himself of doubt and filled himself with certainty. It bypasses the unstable and rests with the faithful. This is not chance, it is structure, it is order. Speak now to that power, not in weakness, but in partnership, not as a servant, but as a son. Say aloud with full command: infinite intelligence gives me ideas, strength, discipline, and supply. I am one with the law of success. I obey it, and it rewards me. I was born to be rich in thought, rich in faith, and rich in purpose. Feel these words enter the subconscious. They are not fantasies. They are declarations. Each one is a spiritual tool, carving a deeper groove in your inner self where wealth shall soon flow. The world may not yet see the fortune, but the law already sees the belief, and belief always precedes possession. You must never break this chain. Let others forget. Let others drift. But you, listen nightly. Repeat daily. Become hourly. The mind once shaped by faith cannot return to fear. The man, once definite in purpose, cannot return to drifting. And the world, once moved by his command, cannot withhold its riches. I do not say these things lightly. I say them because they have been proven. In every life I have studied, Carnegie, Ford, Edison, Rockefeller, Schwab, I found this pattern. First came the belief, then came the work, and then came the reward. But belief always came first. It had to. The law requires it. You may have failed before. That does not matter. You may have doubted yesterday. That is gone. What matters is what you believe now. What matters is what you feed your subconscious tonight. What matters is the voice you allow to speak within you as you sleep. Will it be worry, or will it be wealth? Say again these commands, not with hesitation, but with force. I no longer ask for riches. I expect them because I believe. I am guided by infinite intelligence in every decision. My fortune is already built. I now walk the path to receive it. Let these thoughts rest in your chest. Let them shape your breathing. Let them echo as you slip into unconsciousness. Do not fear the silence. It is in the silence that the law goes to work. It is in the stillness that faith takes root. It is in the sleep that infinite intelligence begins building unseen bridges for your arrival. And when you wake, rise as one who has already been answered. Do not wait for confirmation. Move with power. Decide with clarity. Speak with direction. You are not seeking favor. You have received it. You are not begging for provision. You are walking into it. Let the identity match the belief. Each night you repeat these truths, your inner world is altered. Each morning you act upon them, your outer world begins to change. And though the changes may come slowly, they will come. And when they do, you will not be surprised, for you have rehearsed them in advance. You have believed before you received. Now I give you one last command for this night. Sleep now with power. Sleep now with definiteness. For tomorrow you will rise as a wealth builder who cannot be stopped. You have done the work. You have spoken the words. You have surrendered to the law. The rest belongs to infinite intelligence, and it shall not fail you. Within the words you are about to hear lies a hidden exercise, a simple act of repetition that, if done as instructed, could transform your life entirely. It is not poetic. It is not theory. It is law. And if you will truly listen, not merely hear, but observe as a student of success, then tonight may be the night your life begins to change forever. This exercise, if practiced with faith and decision, will plant in you the identity of the man you were born to become. It will dissolve confusion. It will silence doubt. It will awaken in you the magnetic force of purpose, and it will begin reshaping your results from the inside out. If you follow this truth, you may experience something few ever do. You will begin to wake with confidence instead of dread. You will feel joy returning where heaviness once ruled. You will stop second-guessing and begin acting with calm resolve. You will draw opportunities that once seemed distant, and you will begin to believe, genuinely believe, that you were made for something higher. But be warned, if you drift, if you dismiss this message as common, if you merely nod along without implementing this law of identity, then life will continue as it has. You will continue to speak weakness instead of strength. You will continue to affirm limitation instead of power. You will go to sleep each night planting seeds of failure, and those seeds, make no mistake, will grow. I urge you, do not just let this play while your thoughts wander. Pay attention, watch every line, absorb every word. There is power in this message if you listen with the intent to obey. This is not motivation, this is instruction. This is the science of belief applied with precision to the most powerful moment of your day, the moment before sleep. So ask yourself now before we begin, am I ready to listen as if my future depends on it? Because it does. Now let us begin. The final words you speak each evening may determine the man you become tomorrow. Do not take this lightly. As the day fades and your mind begins to quiet, a sacred window opens, one where the conscious guard softens, and the subconscious, that silent architect of destiny, becomes open to receive instruction. In those quiet minutes before you drift into sleep, your mind is no longer analyzing, questioning, resisting. It is absorbing. This is the fertile soil, and the words you plant in that soil take root without protest. That is why the bedtime hour is not to be wasted. It is your private audience with infinite intelligence through your own subconscious. Autosuggestion is the practice of deliberately feeding belief into the subconscious through repeated thought. Not once, not occasionally, but night after night, word after word, until belief is born through repetition. As I have written before, any idea, plan, or purpose may be placed in the mind through repetition of thought. This is not some poetic metaphor. It is a law. The same way that gravity does not ask for your agreement, this law does not require your permission. It only requires your participation. And every man is participating, whether he knows it or not. The only question is, are you planting weeds or wheat? The law of attraction is no mystery to the man who understands this principle. It is the reflection of mental patterns. It brings to you not what you wish for, but what you believe with consistency. And your belief is built by what you think, what you say, what you feel, over and over again. This is where the law of cosmic habit force enters. Thought repeated long enough becomes habit. Habit acted upon becomes identity. Identity produces results. You do not get what you occasionally affirm. You get what you persistently command. That is why going to sleep with thoughts of worry is not harmless. It is harmful. It is planting weeds of fear that will strangle your potential. But if you go to sleep speaking confidence, repeating power, visualizing victory, you sow authority into the silent workshop of your soul. Edison understood this. He would work late into the night, holding the image of the incandescent light in his mind. He knew that even while his body slept, his mind would continue working on the problem. His evening thoughts became blueprints carried into the realm of sleep. So I command you, do not let your final words be complaint, let them be command. Do not speak of what is, speak of what shall be. Speak as the man you are becoming, not as the man you have been. This is your chance to instruct the subconscious, not to reflect your fears. Understand this. The final thoughts of the evening replay in the mind through the night. They echo, they imprint, they instruct, they rehearse, and eventually they become. That is why you must take this message seriously. This is no ordinary practice. It is not a bedtime ritual for comfort. It is a nightly instruction to the subconscious, a spiritual law in action. You are about to learn 7 phrases that will change the course of your thinking, your emotions, your identity, and ultimately, your entire life. These are not chants, they are commands. You will choose them for yourself, and you will repeat them until they become you. And do not take this lightly. What you repeat, you believe. What you believe, you become. And what you become, you will live. Say this aloud tonight. As I sleep, my belief grows stronger. My identity is shaped by my repeated commands. I plant faith and I reap destiny. Autosuggestion is the tool by which man may seize control of his own destiny. Self-suggestion, I have said, is the agency of control through which an individual may voluntarily feed his subconscious mind on thoughts of a creative nature. You are not a victim of fate, you are a servant of thought. And through autosuggestion, you may become its master. Your subconscious is not concerned with truth or falsehood. It does not debate. It does not judge. It simply accepts what is repeated with feeling. That is the key, with feeling. Whatever is said aloud with repetition and emotion, especially in the quiet hours before sleep, becomes law to the subconscious mind. You must understand this plainly. Most men do not program belief. They program doubt. Not deliberately, but through negligence. They fall asleep each night rehearsing what did not work, what went wrong, what they fear, what they lack. And in so doing, they instruct their subconscious to expect more of the same. They think these are harmless murmurs, passing thoughts, whispers of fatigue, but they are commands, unconscious commands, and they are obeyed nonetheless. Because the subconscious does not distinguish between what is true and what is repeated. It only asks, how often have you told me this? This is the secret that separates the drifter from the determined. The drifting man reacts to life and repeats the reactions. The determined man commands his inner world and repeats only that which builds him. The technique you are about to learn is simple in structure but infinite in power. Each night before sleep, you will speak aloud 7 phrases. Each one begins, I'm the type of person who, and you will follow those words with the identity you choose to become. This is not flattery, this is not empty encouragement. It is identity programming, the law of self-command put into deliberate action. You must speak these phrases aloud. Why aloud? Because spoken word has weight. Thought remains in the abstract, but speech enters the physical. And what is heard with emotion begins to mold belief. The subconscious responds most to repetition and sound. Example, I'm the type of person who is decisive. The more you say it, the more your mind aligns with the image. Your posture changes. Your tone sharpens. Your actions become more immediate. You become the command you have issued. The mind becomes the words it hears. If it hears strength, it starts to act with strength. If it hears weakness, it begins to shrink. That is why you must be careful not only with what you say, but with what you hear. This is not new. This principle is embedded in my self-confidence formula in Think and Grow Rich. I instructed the reader to repeat daily that he believes in himself, in his definite chief aim, in his unwavering faith. Why? because no belief becomes reality unless it is first planted through autosuggestion. The mistake most men make is this. They try to change their outcomes without changing their identity. They say, I want to be rich, while continuing to think like a pauper. They say, I want confidence, while repeating doubt. They say, I want change, while reinforcing the old identity every night before sleep. This exercise will not allow you to do that. It forces you to declare, I am the type of person who, and in doing so, it draws a line between the man you have been and the man you choose to become. You are not affirming outcomes. You are affirming the source of outcomes. You are planting identity, not results. And when identity changes, behavior must follow. Speak these phrases not with wishful thinking, but with decision. Say them not as a beggar hoping to be chosen, but as a master instructing his inner world to obey. Say them slowly. Say them with emotion. Say them with your chest full and your spirit alert. Let the words shape you. I am the type of person who lives by faith. I am the type of person who acts by purpose. I am the type of person who repeats only that which builds power. This is how you rewire belief. This is how you overwrite fear. This is how you install a new identity that reflects your deepest aim. And once this identity is spoken enough times, it will begin to feel familiar. Once it feels familiar, it will become natural. Once it becomes natural, it will become you. This is not self-help. This is self-mastery. This is not motivation. This is mental legislation. Your tongue writes the law your subconscious will follow. Make no mistake, if you do not command it, someone else will. You are now the architect of your internal world. Speak as such. Choose your identity like a sculptor chooses form. Declare it like a king issues decree. Repeat it like a warrior sharpening steel. Because when you wake tomorrow, you will not just wake to the day. You will wake as the man you spoke into being the night before. Now say this aloud before we continue. I am the type of person who commands belief. I install confidence. I shape destiny. I do not speak weakness. I repeat identity until it becomes law. Your results are not random. Your life is not a sequence of disconnected events. Your relationships, your finances, your health, your voice, your posture, your courage, all are the visible fruit of an invisible identity. That identity is not given. It is installed, and it is installed through repetition of belief. Most men never examine the identity they've accepted. They speak of luck, timing, or misfortune. But the truth is simpler. They are reaping what they have repeatedly called themselves. And when you realize that, when you see that what you are is the result of what you've spoken, you will understand your power to transform it. You are not your circumstance. You are not your past. You are not what they called you. You are not the sum of your failures. You are not